I spent 200 days in Valheim. It is an open-world survival game inspired by the Viking culture. And my goal is to defeat all the bosses in the game. Currently, there are 7 of them, including the one in the new Ashlands update. So, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, day 1. So we have spawned in the world. Wielding nothing but a torch, I tried to look for resources around me. Saw a fragile little branch and I immediately started slapping it with my torch and I got some wood. And with the wood I obtained, I made myself a club. With the newly crafted club, I killed this innocent boar because we needed food to survive. I then continued my rampage and destroyed a lot of little trees. And after some time, I finally found some stones. Now I can craft new stuff like the stone axe and the hammer. So with the axe, it's much easier and faster to break these beech and get the wood they have. So for now, my primary focus was to get enough wood and stone so I can start making my base. I eventually found a place where we would summon Eikthyr and fight him. He is the first boss in the game, but I don't really have the items to summon him and I don't have the gears to face him yet. So while exploring the woods looking for resources, I found this abandoned house. So I took all the treasures that was inside this treasure chest. I found another house and this time it contained a beehive. I wasn't sure how I was gonna whack this down because I don't really have a bow or any ranged weapon. I tried my best with my axe, but it failed. And I was dying. I had like 11 health left. So it was time to make a crafting bench just to make a bow. After making a really simple area, I can finally use the workbench. This thing requires a roof and enough cover so you can craft stuff. And with my bow, I did my best and finally broke the beehive. I obtained both the honeys it contained and also the queen bee. And with the queen bee obtained, we can now make ourselves a beehive, which we can collect honey from time to time. I then encountered this really curious creature and I think it's aggressive because it was trying to approach us with all it had. And with my bow, I ended its life and got its loot, resins. So I noticed the place where I am currently is just being surrounded by the black forest. So I decided that this was a really suitable place to make a base. So I got started on plowing the ground to level everything. And this will be where our base is located. It's a very wide area with nothing but grass. But there's a bunch of rocks. And right now, I don't really have the pickaxe to remove those rocks. But at the very least, our very first area, there's not much rocks that we need to remove. I didn't really want to work on a nighttime, so I decided to make a small base at this abandoned house right here. And I slept the night. So I continued on working on my base. I just basically plowed the entire area of the land. After I was done with all the plowing, I started structuring the house I was planning to build. And for this house, I watched a guide on YouTube by DrLootCrate. I'll post the link of the guide in the description. But anyways, yeah, I followed his guide on making this house. I usually just have my base, whatever, like just on the ground or whatever I can place anything with. But for this playthrough, I decided that I really want a good looking base or a decent looking base at the very least. So I followed the guide on how to properly make a base because I really didn't understand how building works in this game. This building process honestly took me a while because I wasn't really familiar with how this works. I gathered a lot of wood as this house would be needing a bunch of wood. I didn't think that my first death in the game would involve trying to get wood. It feels really nice when everything is shaping up, so all that effort was for nothing. And we have a decent looking base. I had to make a bunch of stairs just so I can reach these building spots. I had to rebuild my chimney because I actually made it at the wrong spot. And after a lot of hard work, our base is finally finished. Look at our base. It looks so nice. I also followed the guide and made myself a storage area right here where we'll be storing all our chests. I then made a bunch of beehives with the available queen bees I had. And these honeys will be very useful later for various recipes on food and stuff. And now since we have a base, it was time to go hunting for deers and boars. I had a mod installed that shows me the locations of creatures around me, so hunting these deers and boars were not really hard since I can see where they are at the map. I didn't notice that I was already at the Black Forest, so I ran away as fast as I could because I don't really have any gears right now. So I continued my hunt for deers and boars. And because I was so close to the Black Forest, a gray dwarf actually tried to attack me. There were two of them, the grayling, which wasn't really a threat, but this 1-star gray dwarf could possibly kill me. But well, with my bow and club, I took care of it. And after searching for a while, I finally found a water source. And this place was crawling with lizards. We're gonna be needing their meat for recipes later on. My goal here right now was to look for something called a flint. Flints are the white rocks you find near water sources. And we need the flints to make flint gears. After all the hunting I did, I went home and crafted various stuff and also cooked all the meat I have obtained. I crafted myself a leather armor set consisting of a hat, an armor, and pants. I also crafted myself a flint spear and a wooden shield. So we're gonna be like a Spartan now with a one-handed spear and a shield. Since I now have the item to summon Eikthyr, I went to the altar and summoned Eikthyr. I felt like I was ready as I have a bow on hand and a leather armor set. So we engage on our very first boss battle with a Forsaken called Eikthyr. It was I guess, a mythical deer that like attacks with a lightning. It wasn't really that tanky actually. I'm dealing a lot of damage to it. I also felt really brave and combated it in melee because it dealt more damage and was way faster than just shooting it with a bow. It honestly didn't take long for me to defeat this first boss. I tried throwing my spear as an ending to this battle, but I missed. So I tried again. And boom, we defeated our first boss. So we got a trophy plus a hard antler. And so with the hard antler, we unlocked the recipe for a pickaxe. So for the trophy, we need to return to the altar so we can get the power of Eikthyr. So I placed the trophy at the sacrificial stone and got the power of Eikthyr. What it does is it improves our ability to run and jump for about 5 minutes, decreasing the stamina usage by 60%. Upon returning home, I made even more improvements to my workbench by adding a tanning rack, making my workbench to level 3. And since I have a pickaxe now, it was time for me to explore the Black Forest. And I immediately found a copper deposit where I started mining, but there were a bunch of threats surrounding me, so I have to take care of them. There were both the gray dwarfs and skeletons just nearby. So I realized how bad of a matchup the spear was against the skeleton. I think they're resistant to it because it's a piercing weapon and they're basically skeletons. The best weapon for this would be a club or the torch since they're blunt weapons. After mining some coppers, I went deeper in the forest and discovered I was at a snow biome. This was the mountain, and I was pretty scared that there might be wolves lurking around, so I have to run away. I was looking for both a burial chamber and some water source in the Black Forest. The water source was to look for tin, and for the burial chamber, I need something called a circling core, where I needed to make both the forge and the charcoal kiln so we can process our copper and the future tin. I regret exploring the Black Forest at night as I was being chased by a lot of gray dwarfs and I'm dying. I lured them to my base. My goal here was so they would leave me alone and I would regenerate and sleep here. But instead, they decided to stick around and try to raid the base. They kept throwing rocks at me. They tried destroying the base. But since I had windows, I can try and shoot them to death. After healing a bit at my base though, I decided to go out and kill them in a melee style. And once I have defeated all the Grey Dwarves, I slept. Next day, I finally found a burial chamber and it was being guarded by the skeleton right here. I don't know what's happening, but I can't seem to kill it. I think my attacks is blocked by the tree. After taking care of the skeleton, I went inside the burial chamber and I found a bunch of yellow mushroom that will become a snack for us. It didn't take long for me to actually die inside this chamber. I wasn't expecting there to be too many skeletons and I got trapped in a corner and I couldn't leave or get out. I need a better weapon. Spear was a really bad matchup, so I need to craft myself a club to deal with these skeletons. I went back for my loots and I took revenge on the skeletons that killed me. Now with a club on hand, it was way easier as they were weak to this. This place was honestly very disappointing as I didn't get a single circling core inside. I did, however, found a water source, so I started mining for the tin deposits. I continued my exploration at the Black Forest for another burial chamber, but I guess this Black Forest biome just near my base is a really badly generated area because I couldn't find another burial chamber. Honestly, exploring the Black Forest in the night is a bad idea because I was dying because I was surrounded by monsters. Well, I actually died from an arrow. I finally found one though, and hopefully I can get a bunch of circling cores here. I was very happy to see that there is a circling core here. Now I unlocked the recipe for a smelter and a charcoal kiln. I also found a room which tells me where the elder is, and oh my god, it's very far from where I am. Checking the map again, yes, it is really far. So this continued for a while as I needed a lot of cores so I can make a lot of furnace and charcoal kiln. Sometimes inside these chambers, there's something called a bone pile, which summons the skeletons. I usually just rush inside with my mace, never caring about my life so I can break it down. So I was minding my own business at base, trying to make an area where I can put my furnace and charcoal kilns. The forest was angry at me and raided my base. They weren't really a threat. It was just greylings and grey dwarfs. But I think the threat here would only be the brute if I get hit and the shaman that keeps healing his allies. Honestly, this raid was a really good way to farm the grey dwarf eyes because I would need a lot of those in the future. I realized that the monsters don't stop respawning, so I chilled inside my base until the forest was resting again. So after I heal a bit, I'm gonna go out and kill everything. And that takes care of the raid. So after the raid, I wasted no time and made the smelter. I really wanted to unlock new gears like new armor, new weapons, and most importantly, a pickaxe so I can mine faster. And since I have a pickaxe now, I can finally clear those annoying rocks in my base. So what happened next was just a repeat of collecting ores in the forest, going home to process them, and try to make new gears with the processed metals. Since a lot of bronze was needed to make the armor set, I decided that I won't go for the armor set, But instead, I will just wait for my troll encounter and beat some trolls to make an armor out of them. And with the bronze I obtained, I made myself the bronze axe. Now I can chop birch trees. These things contain fine wood, and fine wood is used in so many things. The most important being able to create a portal. I then tried decorating my room where my bed is. I'm not sure what influences comfort level, but the more comfort level we have, the longer our rested buff is after waking up from a sleep. And since I had a surplus of items from all the hunting that I did, I upgraded most of my gears to the maximum amount I can. I honestly hate the progression for bronze because you both need copper and tin combined to make a bronze. So I really hate the grind. I already improved a lot of quality life for myself by increasing my weight and expanding my inventory slot by 1 row. But still, you can never get out of this process of collecting copper and tin and turning it into bronze. I also obtained some new wood type called the core wood from chopping pine wood. I discovered new recipes like the fine wood bow, the cultivator, and finally the bronze pickaxe. I raided another burial chambers as you can never have enough circling force. I made a mistake of making my cone wood into charcoal, so I had to chop some pine woods again so I can craft the pickaxe and the new bow. After going home with some core wood, I finally made the bronze pickaxe. I also crafted myself a cultivator so I can start farming once I have seeds, and the bronze gear. And with enough materials on hand, I finally made myself a portal. I can now go on adventures and easily go back home with a portal. I'll just need to bring the materials as I go on an adventure. I finally made myself a portal, and my plan is to just bring over the materials to make a portal anywhere in the world. My portal has no restrictions whatsoever, so I can bring metals inside portals. I also made another house structure because I needed a place to store my new stations. This is gonna be where my fermenters will be placed, along with other stuff like cauldrons or future stations that needs a roof. It didn't take that long to build this now because I still remember how I built my first base. So this was like a walk in the park now. So I placed inside my cauldron on my second house. I needed to build a wall so I prevent myself from stepping on fire. I can now make meads, and I just need a fermenter to turn these meads into potions. I can also craft new food like the Queen's Jam that gives a lot of stamina, as well as bird jerky that lasts for a while. I had enough materials to make myself a fermenter, and now I'm processing a minor healing potion. Finally a potion to save our butt when we're in trouble. My cultivator could also make grass now, so I just scattered a bunch of grass on my base so it doesn't look like a wasteland. Exploring on another side of the Black Forest, I finally found our very first troll enemy. Wasn't sure if I would survive any attacks from this troll, so I maintained my distance and tried to take it down with my bow and some fire arrows. So this went on for a while since, well, my bow damage wasn't really that high, but at the very least, I'm safe from harm by maintaining this distance. And with persistence, I finally took it down, and we got its loot. We even got a trophy. Look at that big head. I found another one where we found our first one. I guess the trolls are abundant here on this side of the Black Forest. Raided another burial chamber, but this time I got a better hammer. I can slam the ground and just kill the skeletons behind the doors. It was a good strategy to just close the door and slam my hammer down. It doesn't really deal that much damage, but at the very least, I'm safe. Upon going home and with the materials we got from the troll, I made myself the troll armor set alongside a cape. I also added 3 more beehives on my beehive farm. Upon checking my fermenter, my healing potions were already ready. Now I can chug some potions down whenever I'm in danger. I continued to mine for copper, tin, and process them to bronze. I was preparing myself to have all the bronze weapons that I need. A slash weapon, a blunt weapon, and a pierce weapon. And once we have all of those, it's time to go to the Elder. It took me this long to finally find myself some carrot seeds. So I returned home immediately and started working on my farming area. So I planted all the carrot seeds I had on hand, which were about 9 pieces. And then I went back to the place where I left at the Black Forest. I decided it was finally time to set sail towards the Elder. So I made an area where I place a portal to go home and get materials to make a boat. I just needed some leather scraps and resins. After getting all the materials, I made myself a raft and I was heading now to the Elder. I totally forgot that I could have made a ship if I just made some bronze nails. So we'll make that ship some other time. For now, this raft was enough. The only good thing about this adventure was we have the tailwind. So it didn't really take long for me to reach the other island. And it was a black forest as well. There was actually a very large mountain area here that was blocking my way to convenience towards the Elder. So I have to circulate the area in order to reach the Elder. I dropped by this random burial chamber I found first because I wanted more cores. I then found myself a troll cave as I was on my way to the Elder. I decided that I think I was strong enough and I was ready to challenge this troll. Wait, he's not moving. Is he stuck? Aww. Poor guy. Never mind. I was hoping for an easy fight, but it began moving. So I had to rely on my dodging timings so I don't get hit by this troll. I think one hit would be lethal from this guy because I swear I only have a troll armor and I only have 87 health right now. Okay. Okay. Oh, no, one shot. Woo, well, I almost died and had to travel a very long way again if I did die. But we didn't and we emerged victorious. So let's go. I keep getting distracted and looting a bunch of burial chambers. So I guess the Elder needs to wait. As I continued my journey, I actually found the swamp area. So I was very happy that I didn't need to look for this place. But also, there posed a problem where the Black Forest is sandwiched by both the swamp and this mountain biome. So I need to make a safe area to place a portal so if ever we die, we're pretty close to the Elder now. So I made a small tree house and placed a portal inside. This should be protected from random enemies that come here, like this jogger right here. So for now, I went home and redecorated where I placed my charcoal kiln and forge in the base because it looked really stacked up when I placed it near my houses. So now the center part of my base is where my portal is gonna be. And since I had gotten even more troll hides from killing trolls, I upgraded my armor set. And finally resumed my journey towards the Elder. And we arrived at the altar. So before I initiated the fight, I mined underneath the altar so I can put a portal for a safety measure. I went to my base first and did a bunch of random stuff like planting some carrots, preparing my gears, and prepared some fire arrows for the upcoming fight. After I was finally ready, I offered up the ancient seeds to the ancient bowl. And now we begin our fight. The moment the Elder spawned, I immediately showered it with fire arrows, letting the giant wood burn. The Elder only had like 2 attack patterns on long range. He summoned roots that would attack me, and also did like a throwable root attack, which spreads like a parasite like this. But I can always just get a rock cover, so it doesn't hit me at all. He also had one melee attack, but I would never dare to go on a melee battle with this guy. He looks really huge. So we'll just slowly chip away at his HP with our fire arrows. A couple of arrows later, he was already begging for his life. And with this final shot, I have defeated the Elder and got his trophy and a swamp key. We can now go to swamp dungeons. I wasted no time and headed immediately to the swamp. I was pretty excited to get irons. But for now, since I found a bunch of ancient trees nearby, well, most of the trees in the swamp is ancient. So yeah, I grabbed my axe and chopped the wood to get some ancient barks. The only thing I hate about the swamp is it's full of water and you get a wet debuff. And a wet debuff would mean slower stamina regeneration, I believe. I also worked on climbing some trees to get some guck. So these green things are the guck. For now, I returned home and worked on making another area on the farm. I had found some turnip seeds while I was exploring the swamp. I think I found it from an abandoned house. I then grabbed the poison-resistant potion and the minor stamina mead I made at my fermenters. Crafted a bunch more fire arrows, repaired my gears, just getting ready to explore the swamps again. Went to my shrine and placed the Elder trophy. What the Elder power does is it improves our damage against trees. And since there were lizards nearby, I hunted them as well as I needed more tails for more poison meads. I'll be needing a bunch of them because I'll be taking my time on the swamp as I need a lot of iron ores. I also crafted a new type of food which would boost my health by a lot. Then it was finally time to go to the swamp and look for the dungeon. And after checking the entire area, it was actually just a very small swamp. And I was so disappointed. There was not a single dungeon here. So I just went home and prepared a bunch of stuff like potions and some materials for a bigger boat because we need to look for another swamp. I went to the swamp again and there was actually another portion of the swamp and I fought this abomination right here. It seems it was weak to an axe because, well, surely it's a wood. It took a while, but after slashing it a couple of times with my axe and dodging all its attack by rolling, I beat it and got its wonderful loots. Honestly, after checking the other segment of the swamp as well, there was no dungeon at all. I hate it. I really need to look for another swamp. I went to check the other side of the island, but there was nothing. Exploring some more on another island, I finally found another swamp biome. So I started making a house to house a portal and a crafting bench. So this place will be called Swamp Number 2. I basically just name my biomes on where I am. Like Swamp 1, Swamp 2. So this is Swamp 2. Actually got pretty lucky that the bone mass summon is just right here. So I started plowing the land. So when we fight bone mass, we have a really stable land without like any water that would stop our movement. I also found a circling area right here. So I'm gonna plow the land there so they will just die in the water. They are gonna be our circling core farm and coals. And I finally found the dungeon that we were looking for. So I set up a workbench and a portal so I can just take home the irons I mine. I'm gonna go home for now to store all the loot I have on my inventory. Tended my farm first as my carrots were ready. My turnips were also ready, so I was very pleased for this. Now I can make a spice rack to improve our cauldron. I replanted most of them as seed though, because I would like a stock of turnips on my farm. By placing the spice rack, I learned new recipes. I got the sausages, milkshake, a black soup, and a turnip stew. The sausages were amazing as it gave like 55 health. As for the mock shake, it gave like 50 stamina. So yeah, our stats are improving. After I was done tending my base, it was time to go to the sunken crypts. I started mining all the muddy scrap piles that were blocking this crypt. And these things sometimes give something like a scrap iron, which we can put in a furnace to make iron bars. There were a bunch of monsters in this crypt, but they're not as dangerous as the outsides of the crypt, because there's like a limited space for the monsters to move around here. And some are stuck, like this guy right here. He can't go down the stairs because a chest is blocking his way. The only disappointing part of this dungeon or crypt was that it was so small. I already finished exploring the entire area and I only got like a few iron. So I went home for now, made a bunch of a furnace so I can process all the irons I have. Crafted myself a new shield. Then explored the swamp again to look for another crypt. I saw some green light thinking it was the crypt I was looking for. But I felt so scammed when it was just some lighting and a bunch of monsters and a single chest. I also saw this lone wraith, so I started shooting it with fire arrows as I don't know what to use to kill it. Maybe all weapons work, whatever, but let's just burn it with fire. And by killing this wraith, I got a chain. Now I had a lot of new recipes. And finally, this time for sure, this was a crypt. Now I can set up my portal here and start mining some irons inside. Once again, I was disappointed in this crypt because it was so small. Smaller than the previous crypt I raided. So I had to look for another one. But it didn't take long. I found another crypt just straight ahead. And while I was setting up my workbench and portal, a random abomination just decided to arise from the soil. I had to take care of this first. This thing was big, but if you know how to dodge his attacks, it's not really threatening. So now finally, I was very satisfied with this crypt as it was huge. Like, very huge. There was so many rooms inside. So I frequently went home to process the irons and then go back to the crypt to get more irons. With the irons I have obtained, I can now upgrade my workstations by adding new forge improvements like this bellows. I didn't really have a lot of space inside my house anymore. So I decided to expand the back part of where my workstations are. Transferred most of the workstation upgrades behind this area so that the front won't look very cluttered. Everything is behind here. Except for some, like the bellows right here, because it needs to be close to the forge. I don't know. I tried putting it somewhere else, but it doesn't work out. So the one thing I really need is the mace, because the bone mass is like a giant bone-like slime. So the mace or blunt attack is one of its weakness. I also crafted the entire iron armor set. So now we have a lot of defense. I also crafted a lot of goodies like the iron gear, the iron axe, the iron pickaxe, and the iron buckler. Honestly, I was loaded with iron thanks to that crypt that was very large. I then harvested my turnip seeds as they were ready and planted actual turnips. Since I wasn't done with the crypt yet, I continued my grind inside. I decided to make a very small house here to place a portal that says a coal farm or circling core farm. The only thing left now was to prepare for the bone mass fight. And well, after preparing, I decided to decorate my base a bit by adding some hanging braziers. As I was about to fight the bone mass, an abomination came, so I had to take care of it first. But now it was time to summon the bone mass by offering it withered bones. So yeah, for the bone mass, don't think it's weak with the arrow and fire. I believe it should be weak by frost arrows, but I don't really have one. So what I can do is basically just tank the poison since I have poison resistance. It doesn't really matter. For his wings, I really need to time the dodge and just whack this guy till it dies with my mace. I'm doing a really good damage. As you can see, the HP is almost 3/4 already. Just the timing for dodges, then whacking it with a mace should do the trick. This guy's attack isn't really complicated. He just swings either left or right, and you just need to time it well. Then I dodge. Just like that. And he spews poison like this, but like I said, we have poison resistance. It doesn't matter. The only problem is we don't have visuals once he does that, so I like to back away. And once I have like a pretty good visual on how he attacks, it's gonna be an easy fight. One thing he also does is like throw parts of his body, and he will summon either a blob or skeletons to fight for him. I focus on them so we don't have any annoyance on this one-on-one fight. And after smacking the bone mass a bit more, he eventually met his doom. And we got ourselves a wishbone and the bone mass trophy. So with the wishbone equipped, we can now find things underground that are not usually detected, like let's say silver ores in the mountain or some hidden treasures underground. So I went home and decided I wanted an area where I would place a bunch of my portals. So I started working on building another house with the same design because I don't know any other design. I honestly did not need to make this into a house. Just laying down the floor would have been fine and place a bunch of portals. But well, the rain made me think otherwise. It's not like it wouldn't function with rain, but you know, I just want this inside a house. And with this last piece, we finish our portal house. Let's go. I then teleported myself to the shrine to place the bone mass trophy and got its power. It basically gives me a massive protection against physical attacks like slash, blunt, and pierce, I believe. I then headed to the mountain just near my base, established a portal on this abandoned base right here. I checked out the entire area, but I didn't get any readings for silver. I did encounter some wolves, but no drakes or golems. So I guess this mountain was like a small mountain with nothing but wolves. Yep, absolutely nothing but wolves here. Upon arriving home, I made myself the dragon bed, an improvement to our straw bed. I also made the wolf rug. Hopefully both of these things would increase my comfort. While I was walking around my base, I noticed that the wishbone was sticking. And I felt it. It was here. Down here was the treasure. I dug up the area and I actually found a chest. It contained some gold, some silver necklace, and arrows. So yeah, we got some treasure. I then went back to the swamp area where we defeated the bone mass, as I noticed that there was a snow mountain here. Hopefully it's a big snow mountain with a lot of things inside. After arriving at the mountain, it was huge. Like, oh my god, I got a lot of climbing to do. While climbing up this mountain, I found a obsidian deposit. So I mined it, of course. I unlocked recipes for some poison arrows, obsidian arrows, and a tool shell, an upgrade to our workstations. So I found this abandoned house here and I wanted to repair it. It's gonna be our base for our portal, but a random golem decided to attack us. So I needed to use the power of the bone mass so it doesn't do anything to me. And I took care of the golem, no sweat on our forehead. So I continued working on the small base that I wanted to make for our portal. Until suddenly, another golem appeared. And it broke everything. And I was like, yeah, I can't build a house here. It's full of monsters. So I instead went up higher in the mountain. And I wanted to build my base up here. Suddenly, my wishbone was sticking like a metal. So I thought, oh my god, I actually found a silver ore right here. And yeah, I did. There was a silver vein just below me. So now we don't need to worry about finding silver ores because it's just here. Before I continued mining the silver ore, I really need that temporary house that would save us the trouble from coming back here if ever we died. So I finished the small house and placed a portal. And I then continued mining. And I swear to God, this place is very dangerous. I always get attacked like a random drake, a random wolf, or whatever that's close to the vicinity. The most hated enemy was probably the golem because oh my god, it can kill me if I'm not careful. And I thought it couldn't get worse. Suddenly, I was being haunted. So I tried running away to the top of the hill. And I made myself a area here with my hole. Now the wolves can't get to me. I'm pretty safe. Maybe I should... Wait, they're destroying my freaking thing! So yes, they couldn't get me, so they decided to get my base. So it went on for a while, and once I killed all the wolves and I wasn't being hunted anymore, I needed to repair my base. And after everything that has happened so far, it was time to mine the silver vein again. I made a portal just inside the mining area so I can leave all the silver to my furnace to process and go back and mine some more. I then crafted the wolf hide armor and pants. There's really no helmet right now. I needed to get trophies from the drake to make a drake helmet. I also crafted myself a new bow called the Draugr Fang. It has an effect of poisoning the enemies hit with my arrow. I also crafted something to improve my cauldron, and now I unlock new recipes for food, like the ice cream and wolf jerky. I raided this abandoned fortress and found the thing that shows you where the boss is. And it was pretty close by actually. I was very happy that I didn't need to travel across the sea to look for this boss. I then found a drake nest which contained some dragon eggs. And this will be useful in summoning the boss. My wishbone then detected another area where silver ore was available, so it was time to start mining again. I then barricaded the place by raising the ground so I won't be disturbed while mining. I then crafted myself a new shield called the Silver Shield. Went on an upgrade spree on my Draugr Fang because I know the next boss is a flying dragon and this will be very useful. I just left a portal at the silver vein since I felt like I already have enough silver on my inventory and I didn't need to mine some more. So now it was time to go to the boss summoning location. And while on the way, I hunted a bunch of drakes as I needed their trophy so I can craft a new helmet. And after a long walking running session, I finally arrived at the boss summoning altar. I dealt with the surrounding monsters first. Basically a lot of drakes because there was actually a drake nest just beside this summoning altar. Just like the elder, I dug up an area just below the altar so I can set up a portal where I can come back anytime if ever I die from this boss fight. Returning to base, I crafted myself the drake helmet and look how cool this helmet is. It has horns. Look, I'm like a dragon. Yeah. And since I had a lot of silver bars, I upgraded most of my armor set. Then I worked on my farm and expanded it as I found another seed. I found some onion seeds on the... I don't know how to call those places. Those abandoned towers where monsters lie. So yeah, I found some onion seeds there, so it's time to grow them in the base. And so, feeling ready, I went back to the boss summoning altar and summoned the boss. So we have summoned this dreadful creature called Mother, the Mother Dragon. Not actually its title, but Mother sounds like mother. So I was like, the Mother Dragon. Anyways, this boss was pretty tanky, so I really wanted a melee combat. I just needed to dodge his icicle attacks when he's flying like that. And if he goes to the ground, it's easy to just dodge all his melee attacks. The only thing that needs to take notice is probably his ice breath, so we don't freeze to death and die. So whenever Molder goes to the ground, I initiate a melee fight using my iron mace. And since I had an available bone mass buff, I decided to just face tank everything and slap his face with my deadly hammer. But I was too short to actually hit his face. So this went on for a while, just a cycle of Molder flying and shooting icicles, or sometimes going down and using his ferocious mouth or paws or claws. He would try his best to eliminate me from this world. But with my bone mass buff and frost resistance, I can honestly just tank everything he throws at me. But after losing my bone mass buff, I actually ran away because I panicked that I might die in like 2 hits, 3 hits or something. I needed to play safe now that I don't have the buff. By playing it safe, I mean like dodging everything, pay attention, not like just pay attention, I guess. And I should be able to dodge everything. And after a long struggle of whacking this dragon, I finally defeated Molder and earned myself the trophy and some dragon tears. I placed the trophy in the altar, and this is gonna be very useful when we're gonna look for either Mistlands or Ashlands. The power of Molder is basically for 5 minutes, we're always gonna have a tailwind when we're sailing, meaning wind's gonna push us to wherever direction we want to go to. So with the dragon tears, I made the artisan table. This table looks really cool because it's moving, unlike the other table which is stationary. I also crafted myself the loom even if I didn't have any flax to process. So now we'll need to look for the plains for the next boss. But I noticed this little bag looking icon and was very curious. So I went ahead and went to it because there was a portal nearby this icon. And it was a merchant called Haldor, and he sold a bunch of random stuff. So I bought myself some Thunderstones and Emir's Flesh. By buying Emir's Flesh, I unlock a recipe for a Frost Hammer. And for the Thunderstone, I can now make an Obliterator. What it actually does is if you offer up some random materials to give to Thor, he would convert it to coal. I also sold some other stuff that I wasn't really interested in. And so I went on my journey to look for the plains. It was actually just below this mountain area where we fought Molder. I don't know what's happening, but I got this bug which makes my character very slippery, so I just slide and can't get out of this sliding animation. And while I was stuck at the random bushes right here, I decided to make a portal because if we die like this, then at least we can come back to get our body. This was happening because of a certain mod that I had. I thought it was my world being bugged because if you can see the world, it's like it's glitching out. I was thinking that maybe the plains has been fused together with the mountain. And I only get this slippery feel when I'm at the plains, but when I go back to the meadows or the black forest or the swamp, it returns to normal and I don't slide. So since it's already here and we are already far from the game, the only way I can walk without sliding is by plowing the land to become leveled, and I can walk normally. Wasn't really easy because I was being attacked by both the mosquito and the black slime. I do manage to run away each time, but it's still very annoying to have this bug. So once I plow a certain amount of land and can move freely, I'll kill both of these guys. So let's talk about monsters. For the earlier monsters, you saw the mosquito. It's one of the enemies that a lot of players struggle with. But if you know how to fight it, you just need to raise your shield up, let it attack your shield, then whack it to that in one shot. Or you can shoot an arrow to the mosquito. So anyways, these are the fuelings. They're little goblins in this place. And they drop the next set of metals called the black metal, where we can smelt in a blast furnace, which we need to craft. And this thing, this giant thing, is a Lox. And it's very strong and I hate fighting it. But we'll be needing its pelt and its meat, so we need to kill it. It only needs like 2 strikes for it to kill me. So I really need to be careful when fighting this Lox. Thinking I could take on the second one, I tried my best to dodge, but well, with its big body, it killed me. I then came back for revenge using my bow, so we have a safe distance. And then I grabbed my drop items. And after exploring some more with a hoe on hand so we can actually run in this place, so I realized I only float or slide when I jump. But I'm actually fine if I just walk or run in the plains. And as you can see, I found a fueling base. And hopefully it would contain either barley or flax. While combating some enemy, I did not realize there were actually a lot of fuelings in that village. So I had to run away because this 2-star fueling was so strong. I tried my strategy with the wolf, but the fuelings had range attackers like spear throwing and bow. It didn't last long before I got pushed down from my stone tower. And I slid down towards the water and died from fall damage. Amazing. I came back for my gears and started killing a bunch of fuelings again. I really wanted to raid the village for its loots. As long as I don't get near this berserker, I should be fine. Because these things do massive damage when they hit you. I honestly hate how tanky they are, because it takes me very long to kill one and there's like a bunch of them left in the village. And when I thought that the berserker was the problem, it was actually this 2-star fueling right here. Look at his slap. Look, my HP was like gone. It took a while, but I killed it. And then again, there was another 2-star fueling. I hate it. I hate it so much. And after killing this guy, it was smooth sailing afterwards because all the berserkers and the 2-star 1-star fuelings were already gone, and what remains were the shaman that does like magic damage but it wasn't really a threat, and like 2 more fuelings. So yeah, this place is gonna be my flax farm. There was actually 1 more berserker, but it wasn't a problem since, you know, we can just maintain height and it can't do anything to us. Some of the flax I placed on the loom was finally ready, so now I unlock a bunch of new recipes for an armor, weapons, and other stuff. Couldn't really craft anything at the moment because I didn't have that much linen, but it's nice to know that we have unlocked a lot of new recipes. After waiting for a bit, I finally got the remaining 4 linen to make the porcupine. I recycled my iron mace to get the iron back. This is also a mod I added. What it does is if you don't need your current weapon anymore, you can just recycle it and get everything back. I made an additional 2 blast furnace, so I worked on some of the black metals. Then went back to the village, which I turned into my flax farm and planted the remainder of my flax. After all that, I went home and checked all the new stuff I could make, especially the food. I now have something called a wolf skewer, which gives more HP than the sausage. I also replanted the onions I harvested into some seed onions, so I got some onion seeds on stock. Went over my circling core or coal farm because I was running out of coal and I was too lazy to chop some wood, and these things drop a lot of coals if you AFK for a bit. I then went to the Black Forest as I needed copper for, I believe, workshop improvements. Then I continued my adventures in the plain to locate more villages. Didn't get a single boss summon item on the previous village, but I did get the flax, so I'm happy with that. When I first battled these growth slimes, they were very threatening to me, but now I know I could just either use up my power of the bone mass or shield up, then they wouldn't really do that much damage, and I could just rush them in with my porcupine and whack them to death in 2 hits. I also farm a bunch of these new berries called the cloud berries, and a bunch of new food items require these, and those food items are amazing because they give like a lot of stamina or health. And after a bit of looking around, I found another village filled with fuelings. When I say filled, I mean it's very populated with these freaking goblins. But they were having a hard time reaching me because I was just standing around this rock. I'm not sure, they're having trouble swimming, I guess. I also took care of the berserker guardian in the village. Like this guy right here. I was so happy to find that this village had so many barleys planted on its farm. So now we can make flour and make bread. The number 1 threat in this place was this Lox right here. The Lox are honestly really strong monsters. Look at that damage, and it just pushes me around. And it's very tanky as well. It took me quite a while to kill this thing. And when I thought it was over and I could finally get the lovely barleys, another one dropped by. You know that I'm bugged, right? So he just attacked me like that and I was sent flying non-stop. Like, it was crazy. Just glad that I didn't die from full damage from all that sliding. I went back to combat the Lox, but he pushed me again and I died. So I went back for my items and finished it off with a bow in a safe distance. Now finally, no one will disturb us from looting this village. Processed all the flax I have gained on that other village. I didn't need to save any anymore since I already replanted some on the other village. I also placed a bunch of barley in my windmill as I have a lot of them. I had to make another windmill to double the production. And then I finally made myself an oven. Now we can cook some bread or pies or whatever we can cook inside here. I also crafted myself some fire resistance mead so I can turn it into potions. And then the 2 types of bread we can make, it's either the unbaked lox pie or the regular bread from the bread dough. The buffs from the pie and the bread are amazing, like very amazing. There's a lot of health and stamina buffs they give. Aside from all of these other foods in the cauldron, they're just one of the best. I then made both the armor and the pants since I had enough linen to make those 2. I didn't have enough to make the helmet though, so the Drake helmet is what I'm still wearing right now. I also upgraded my cape to the Lux cape. This had frost resistance, so this was way awesome than the troll cape I had, and it looks cooler actually. Upon checking my flax farm, it was finally ready for harvest. So let's take all these flax, replant some, and process them to linen. I didn't forget to plant our barleys here as well, so we have a supply of bread. With that, I made an armor stand to say goodbye to my previous armor set. And now I just need to make the helmet and I have a complete one. As I was running out of coals from smelting so many black metals, I went to my farm again. I then resumed my journey to look for more villages to raid so we can get some totems and we get an idea where the boss might be located. After exploring all the areas of the plain on the island I was on, there wasn't really any more villages or the boss summons. So I needed to set sail again to the world to find another plains. I just went home and prepared myself for the upcoming adventure of looking for another plains. So the day has come and we have set sail to look for a new land. I encountered a sea serpent along the way, but I didn't feel threatened as the wind was on my favor. It was chasing me down though. I eventually saw land nearby, but it still kept chasing. I was so happy that the next land area was also in the plain, so hopefully there's a village here. I decided to shoot my bow to the serpent, and to my surprise, I did a pretty decent damage actually, and it ran away. I then set up a mini teleport area called the Plains, or Plains 2 I mean, because I already have the planes. I was so happy to find that there was a large village in this island. It was located in a border of a swamp area, so I guess they'll be fighting some joggers as well, so they'll be distracted fighting them than noticing me who's assassinating some fuelings. So I sneakily tried to assassinate them one by one, but I don't know, I couldn't one-shot this guy and everyone was alerted. They had a hard time coming to me though because it was separated by a river, and it doesn't look like they have any berserkers out here. I actually ran out of arrows. I totally forgot to stock up. But I noticed that the fuelings are fighting swamp monsters. So this was pretty good, honestly. I couldn't really fight. Well, I could, but I decided not to and just went home instead and planted more onions. I then went back, and this time I had arrows on me. It didn't take long for me to kill all the fuelings in the area, as I had a really great sniping spot after killing an archer. I then grabbed all the crops they have planted in this place, and also I was happy to find that there were totems here, so I nabbed those too. I just needed like 2 more and I should be able to summon the boss. For now, I decided to go home and process all the loot I've got so far. I then resumed my journey to look for more villages, but I found this really small, I don't know what to call this, I guess fueling guardhouse or something. Only contained like a treasure chest and about 2 fuelings guarding it. So I disturbed their peace and destroyed them. And while looking around some more, oh, there's the Yaglu. Very obvious structure right there. So I found both the boss altar and a village right here. And since it was pretty big, I assumed there should be totems inside. So I started killing the fuelings one by one. I wanted to drown them in this tar right here, but I didn't think it wouldn't work out. But it did help in slowing them down on approaching me. There were like 2 berserkers and I can't deal with 2 berserkers. And after taking care of the remaining fuelings, yes, there were some totems. And now I am ready to summon Yaglus. I have the 5 totems I need now. Since you know my game is bugged, I leveled the ground where we'll fight the boss first. I also killed a bunch of potential threats that might join the fight, like these group of black slimes, which are very annoying because I can't go near them. But I did my best to like lure them closer by hiding behind a wall or something. I ultimately decided to just run away and go home, craft some frost arrows, and deal with them that way because there were just too many of them and I can't really go near them because they fired a bunch of tars at me. So after some preparation, I went back to the place of Yagluth and continued plowing the land. I then killed the slimes one by one until there was nothing left. And suddenly, while I was minding my own business, a group of wolves decided to prey on me. I was being hunted right now. And honestly, I didn't have any portal nearby. So if I died from these wolves, it was over. Like, I needed to walk here again, which was very far. I made a mistake of destroying the portal I used to go home and stock on some cross arrows. And it's not like I can build one right now because I'm being ganged by the wolves. So a good strat for me right here was just to continue blocking until they stop attacking me. So I just block until they found it tiresome to deal with me. And once the raid event was over, I slowly killed them one by one. And I was so glad I was safe and didn't die. So learning my lesson, I made myself a portal if ever I died by some random event. And finally, with a lot of preparations done, it was time to summon Yaglus. So I drank a fire-resistant potion and a poison-resistant potion. I wasn't sure if he does poison damage, so it was always nice to have some poison resistance. So the giant skeleton emerged from the ground. And this was honestly a very long fight as he was very tanky. I wasn't too sure what his attack pattern was because last time I played this, I only defeated Moder. So I guess one of his attacks consisted of him summoning some meteor showers. Another one was this fire breath. And if you get close enough, he will have this smacking fire attack where the whole area is burning. So all in all, only those 3 attack patterns. But the burning hurts. He felt pretty safe and protected because of the pillars he had on the base. It sometimes took the rock meteor damage. And his fire attacks didn't really do that much since I had some fire resistance. And likewise, I didn't know what his weakness was. But since he's a skeleton, I assumed it was a blunt damage. So I did my best to do a melee fight, but well, he did so many area of effects that I couldn't really get near him. And whenever I do, he does that thing where it deals fire and lightning damage, I guess. And it burns me to death. So this went on for a while, so I decided to make like a base underneath the altar for a resting spot. It was a good idea at first. I was protected from the meteor, but when he does his melee attacks, when the area burns, I am not really protected from the burn effects. I had to run away. I made it more deeper, so now I'm protected from everything, every environment he attacks at me, and I'm currently sheltered inside here. So I think that means I can regenerate more. It seems that my axe did more damage to him than my porcupine, so I started using my axe when I fight him in melee. But yeah, I ran out of like health potions, so I needed to play safe now. That was my last health potion. I also ran out of frost arrows, so I had to run away and go home. I came back immediately after crafting some frost arrows, as I was afraid he would regenerate all the damage I have accumulated so far, and it was a really long fight. So I just maintained my distance and like shot an arrow to his face. It wasn't really high of a damage, so I really needed to whack him with melee or else he'll just keep regenerating all the damage I've been accumulating. Totally forgot about this weapon called the Frostner. If I remember correctly, undeads are pretty weak to spirit attacks. So since this Frostner was made of silver and it also dealt frost damage, I crafted and upgraded it, and hopefully this would aid me in killing Yagluth much faster. And it was amazing against Yagluth. Just look at the damage I'm doing to him. And there's also the spirit ticks or damage over time that's sticking his health. It's amazing. It's amazing. And after a bunch more whacking, Yagluth finally died. And we received his loot. So after defeating him, this new bird appeared. It's a white crow. I don't know. Is it a crow even? I wasn't sure. But anyways, his name was Munin, brother to Hugin, the black crow that we always speak to and told us like guides and stuff. So anyways, he just came and greeted us. I then went home and crafted the wisp fountain, the new recipe we gained from getting the Thorn Spirit from Yagluth. So Hugin explained that we just need to wait for darkness and it will attract the wisp. Waiting for the night, I went to the shrine for now and placed the trophy. So Bone Mass gave resistance to physical attacks, while Yagluth gave resistance to magical attacks or the elements. I still chose both Bone Mass. So after waiting for a while, a wisp did came and I grabbed it. And now I had wisp. And now I can make some wisp light. With some silver and the wisp, I made the wisp light. And as the description says, it guides me through the thickest of mist. So the next area we're gonna go to is the Mistlands. This little thing will be very useful in helping us see whatever lies beyond the Mistlands. So before I went to Mistlands, I first activated the power of motor. It has the ability to keep tailwind on us when we're sailing, meaning the wind is gonna support us so we can move faster in the sea. All I really did was prepare for our adventure to Mistlands. That means gathering a bunch of stuff like raspberries to make more potions. It would actually be really nice if we could like, you know, plant raspberry on our base so we don't need to go around the map. So anyways, after that, I can now make some medium healing potions because I was just lacking some raspberries and then I started fermenting them. Next up, I went to the portals to the plain where I had my barley and flax farm. I gathered a bunch of barley as I needed bread foods as well. I replanted some of them because, yeah, we don't really want our bread supply to dwindle. I had about 3 windmills to process all the barley to flour. Now it was time to craft the food we need, like the wolf skewer, the pie, and the bread. So my plan is to sail south because the ultimate goal is to go to Ashland, and Ashland is only available in the south. So hopefully we can find the Mistlands around the south. And so finally, I reached the area where there is an ocean now. It was finally time to set up a portal, a workbench, and start gathering the materials to make the boat towards Mistland. But before I did that, I wanted to make an area where I can farm all these gray dwarves. I'll be needing a lot of their eyes for either ice cream or to make the portal. Then went home and smelted a bunch of black metals. We'll be needing this once we've unlocked the black metal pickaxe. I then went back to the plains to gather more fine wood as I noticed I've been running out of them. So, alright, it was now finally time to prepare the materials for the boat. So I crafted about 100 iron nails. Got the other materials like the fine wood, the ancient bark, and the deer hide. And then I made the long ship. So this will be the ship we'll be using to go to the Mistlands. Honestly, my plan is just to sail down until we eventually find an island we do not recognize. As long as we don't go to the tip or the very most bottom, which would be the Ashlands, we're fine. I had to do a quick stop on this island right here because I found a merchant just nearby. So I parked my boat and will approach that merchant and see what she has on hand. I also interacted with the map table and now I can find places like the Howling Cavern, the Sealed Tower, and the Smoldering Tomb. I'm not sure what was inside of those. So I think I'm just gonna venture on one, which would be the closest. And checking out what she was selling, it was pretty useless. I didn't like anything. I'm gonna be doing a really quick side quest. Since the Howling Cavern was close by, I'm gonna go to it and see what's in there because I never really experienced going to these areas. The Howling Cavern was actually in the mountain and it was similar to a Finver cave. And this bird warned us that this cave will be more challenging than expected, so I should be careful. Should be over-geared right now since currently I'm wearing like the plains gear set or the black metal gear set. But seeing how the monsters here are 1-star, it might actually pose a problem to us. I mean, if they're grouped up like this, and honestly they actually do really strong damage. But as long as I'm keeping myself safe, I should be able to clear this dungeon in no time. But yeah, like I said, they are pretty strong. They staggered me and look at me now. I have like 18 health left. It was my mistake to prioritize stamina, food, than health. Because I thought that stamina would help me attack more. So yeah, I died. I have to come back. So I continued exploring the dungeon in hopes of like great treasures. There wasn't really anything new. It's the common Finver items you'll find in normal Finver caves. I was hoping for something new, like some new weapons I can craft with materials. So exploring some more, I finally found the boss of this cave, which was this, I don't really know how to pronounce this name, Geir Hafa. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's this guy. This is the boss, the big bad boss of this cave. And I was pretty hopeful that killing him would unlock like a new gear or something. It wasn't really that tough. All I did was like wait for an opportunity to whack him with my mace. But now that he was dying, I just went all in. And now I got the Hilder's silver chest. And I need to return this to the merchant, Hilder. So I teleported to Hilder, I gave her her chest, and now something is happening behind here. So I assumed that she would be selling us new wares. And as I check out what she was selling, I don't really need anything. So that was a complete waste of time. But the experience was there and I'm happy to try out the Howling Cavern. So now I won't be trying out the other caves or dungeons. I'm just gonna go straight to Mistland because I'm very excited to try out the new Mistlands gear. Like, you know, magic and stuff. So we resume our adventure to the Mistlands. I believe I'm still very far from it. So we've come a long way, but I still have not seen any sights of Mistland. And currently, I ran out of my motor buff and I'm just rowing my boat because the wind is against us. It's not helping us at all. I can see like a land just ahead of us covered in mist. So I was hoping this was the Mistland because, you know, it's covered in mist. And yeah, I was right. So half of the, not really half, but half of what we see is the Black Forest and the other half is the Mistland, I think. Because look, the Black Forest loaded, but the parts where there are mists didn't. So assuming it is the Mistland, because you need this wisp in order to clear the mist. So since we're not there, there's no wisp, there's mist. So it is Mistlands. Yeah! So upon landing, I immediately build some wall to protect our portal. So this will be our safe place. If ever we die, we can just come back here. And after I readied myself, I proceeded to explore the Mistlands. I found some rabbits that runs really fast and I can't really see them in the mist. I also found this giant ancient root pulsating energy. So I made sure to mark it in the map because I'll be extracting those energy. I also found this giant ancient sword. I'm not sure what it is for, so I also marked it in the map. Then this ancient armor. I'm just honestly amazed at this new stuffs I'm seeing in the Mistlands. So I'm just marking everything because I might need it in the future, you know? So I continued my journey and I found this mage. I think it was hostile towards me, but I'm not too sure. Ah, yes. It wasn't hostile towards me. It was just killing the Grey Dwarf that was behind me. And checking out their base, they have a really fancy looking base. Look at this rock base. I'm jealous. My wooden base couldn't actually. And we have this thing called the Diverger component. So I destroyed it, grabbed it, now unlock the sap extractor. And I guess once you destroy stuff on their base, they get angry at you and they will be hostile and attack you. I wasn't sure if they're hostile because this rogue, I don't know what it's doing, but it's attacking their door. They eventually fired at me after I still looted around in their house. I guess they were really angry. Left with no choice, I had to kill them because, you know, it's me or them. So yeah, this is my base now. Not theirs, mine. Also found this new food type here called the Jotun Puffs. I'm not sure what recipes we unlock, but it hasn't unlocked it yet. Maybe I need something like a cauldron improvement first before we can unlock the recipe. While walking around, I found this thing called a Yggdrasil shoot, and it contains Yggdrasil wood. Also, this something called this mage cap. It's also a type of food. And I guess this is the one that gives us the magic power because it's a magical mushroom where everything becomes magical. So while just roaming around, I finally encountered my first ever enemies in the Mistland. Not the Grey Dwarfs, but the enemies that reside in the Mistlands, the Seekers. And boy, they were threatening. Because I swear, my damage is just not there. So the fight took a while because they really did a lot of damage on me. It only takes like 4 hits before they can kill me. So I needed to be careful and had my shield up most of the time. And after that fight, I thought I was free. But then this giant glowing thing that laid eggs to ticks, gave birth to ticks, suddenly attacked me out of nowhere. And these sticks are dang annoying. They're squishy, like one shot, but they're annoying. And if they're latch onto me, they will suck my blood, and that's a lot of damage. So I need to take care of their mother. I couldn't really see any health from this, but since I had no choice but to keep firing my arrows, well, that's what I did. As I was shooting the mother of these ticks, suddenly I was surrounded by insects, and ultimately I met my end here. But good thing we have the diverger house, right? I'll come back and loot my body later. So after getting the Yggdrasil wood, I have unlocked the ability to make the black metal pickaxe. Now let's go, we have a better pickaxe now. Before returning to Mistland though, I had to activate the power of the bone mass because I needed some tankiness in my body. I returned for revenge, and this time I had the bone mass buff. I was not scared of these guys, never mind, they're scary, I hate them. But as long as I play smart and, you know, use my bone mass buff, I should prevail. And yes, I absolutely destroyed them. They were no problem at all. Look at my hammer damage. So I continued gathering materials so we can finally make those new gears. But I'm not sure how I unlocked those new gears, so that was a problem. So just gathered whatever I can gather right now. And while I was minding my own business, this Seeker soldier decided to attack me. And he was very tanky. Like, holy, this fight was gonna take so long. But anyways, yeah, I just need to block all his attack and attack him, and he'll eventually die. I honestly hate this place. Everything is so tanky. Everything is so dangerous. I'm crying inside. Anyway, we prevailed. While collecting materials and was gonna establish a base, I found this hair here. I don't know what's happening to it, but it was stuck. So I took the opportunity and killed it with my bow. I got myself some new meat and new material like the scale hide. I think since the name scale hide, it should be for armor. But I still haven't unlocked the thing that makes the armor, I guess. So the mother tick is actually called Gejal, and he or she tried to raid my base again, and I hate her. So I shot her with all that I had, and she died and exploded. Yeah, let's go. Revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge. Then with my black metal pickaxe, I tried mining this ancient armor. Maybe this was the thing we were looking for. The disappointment on my face after mining this was so much. I got something called a copper scrap. So I'm assuming this makes copper. So I then went home, grabbed a couple of wisp on my chest, and planted a bunch of wisp torch on this pseudo base we have. My plan was to scatter this all over the place where our base was so I can see the hairs and so I can kill them with my bow. So I finally remembered about the ancient root. So I crafted a bunch of sappers on them so we can extract their sap. Other than that, I continued my exploration, and I also gathered a bunch of new foods and Yggdrasil wood. So every time I discover a route on my exploration, I mark it on the map because these things run out eventually if you keep extracting saps from them. So I'll be moving my sapping base every time the route runs out. I found another diverger house, and this time it was bigger than the ones I found, and there were more of them inside. Yeah, I wouldn't dare fighting them because there's too many of them, and I'm pretty sure I will just die. I wasn't sure why, but when I visited them again, they appeared hostile. I think I did a little oopsie, like hitting one of their walls, and now I'm like a threat to them. Look, he was shooting an arrow at me. I hate them. I thought we were friends! Anyways, the Seekers never stop to annoy me as they fly in packs and just suddenly drop in your face. But well, bone mass buff, they're no match. Checking the route where we had our extractor, I gathered some sap. Now I unlocked some new meads like the lingering stamina, the minor aether. Aether is the magic points or the mana points in this game. And we've unlocked it. Let's go. We just haven't unlocked the magic ones yet, so what's the point? I went home for now, checked out the new mead. The lingering stamina gave like plus 25% stamina regen, so it's pretty useful. So I crafted one. I then just worked on my base, like crafting more flowers since my barley ran out in this windmill. I was honestly just chilling at the base right now, just preparing stuff because, you know, Mistlands is pretty stressful. We need our downtime. I made some meat pie just to enjoy myself and fermented a bunch of new potions. And after chilling for a while, I know it's finally time to return back to work. So I went and checked the roots, the extractors. And now the glow of this root was fading. It was time to move my extractors. So I continued exploring the Mistlands, looking for something called the Infested Mines. In the Infested Mines, it is the place we'll be getting new stuff like a core that would unlock the ability to make a forge. But yeah, it's not really easy to look for the Infested Mines. I have to keep a lookout. And while exploring, I found this thing called a petrified bone. It looked like a giant rib cage. So I started mining it to see what we can get from it. I got an item called a black marble and I didn't really unlock anything new. So I guess the black marble itself wasn't enough to unlock recipes. For some reason, I guess mining these giant remains made the divergers hostile against me. I wasn't sure how to pronounce divergers. Anyways, diverger. I don't know, man. It's a diverger. So yeah, it made them hostile towards me. I don't know, or maybe because I attacked the previous tower and they communicated somehow and told like each other that, hey, this guy is, you know, a threat to us. Kill him. So yeah, you better run, you little mage punk. Anyways, I continued mining the ribcage until I felt satisfied with the amount of black marble I had, or until I mined everything, I guess. Since I wanted more of those diverger rod for extractors, I raided this tower. I'm not sure why, but they weren't really hostile towards me. But there were so many of them. I wasn't sure if I should do it or not. But as I was contemplating if I should steal their stuff, some seekers decided to attack their base. So yeah, it was high time for me to steal a bunch of their stuff while they're distracted. But nah, I'm a good person, so I just left the scene. My current goal right now was to locate the infested mines. So I had to look up, down, left, right, wherever, whatever, any signs of the infested mines. I just really wanna unlock the new gears so I can be tanky or strong. I don't know. And while I was looking around, I found this 1-star soldier. And it was already tanky with no star. And now it's a 1-star. So I had to run away as fast as I could. I actually lured it to the previous tower with the divergers. Because I'll let them take care of this one instead of me. I just stole a bunch of loot flying around. It's not like they need it, right? I was honestly hoping for them to kill each other. But somehow the divergers win and there's still a lot of them. So I guess my plan to kill the winners won't be happening because there's just too many of them. So right now I wasn't sure where the nests are. If it's above or below. So I just look around the mountainsides and, well, there's really nothing I can see down there because it's full of mist. I climbed a lot of mountains, just looking left and right. Hopefully I can find the mines. The only things I seem to find are diverger towers, and there's really nothing in diverger towers. Now that I had enough for extractors, I don't really need more. While I was on the journey to look for infested mines, I found this giant bone. I didn't really know what I can get from here, so I just marked it on the map as petrified bones. So the search went on for a while because I really couldn't find the infested mines. I searched and searched. And well, sometimes I found this diverger house that only had like 1 or 2 divergers. So it was pretty easy to kill them since I can just like stand beside them and backstab them since they don't really think I would betray them like that. So I killed them and got their loots. And continued my search again until finally I found it. But I was in the verge of dying. with no stamina and health and surrounded by about 4 seekers. One is a 1-star seeker. I had to get shelter inside the infested mine and wait for the cooldowns to disappear. And then I can go back out again and try to make a portal. So when I felt like maybe it cooled down, I went outside to check the situation. And well, it hasn't cooled down, and the Seekers are still threatening as ever. They were just waiting to kill me outside. I just needed to take care of them one by one, and we should be good. I wasn't really afraid as I had the power of bone mass with me. So I activated it and just went all in. Like, I don't care about my defense, I just went all in. I just want to destroy them so I can set up my portal and so I can finally explore the insides of the dungeon and get new gears. Anyways, I killed them all, I set up my portal, and it was time to explore the infested mine. Honestly, I hate this place. This place was crawling with seekers. Like, not just one, multiple seekers. There's also multiple ticks down here. And I got this new stuff called the Royal Jelly. And because I got this, I now had unlocked the mead for major healing potions. I was very happy that we have an upgrade on our potions. So yeah, I found these eggs as well. So I immediately destroyed them. They contain Royal Jelly as well. I was very happy that they won't become a giant seeker in the future. Because I hate these seekers. I hate them. They're so scary. And tanky and strong. And yeah, they hurt overall. Anyways, after dealing with a bunch of seekers, I found a hidden door. And inside the door were cores called the Black Cores. And now I can make the Black Forge and the Aether Refinery. I also got myself a bunch of treasure chests, which I don't know what to use for. But anyways, what's most important is the Black Forge and the Aether Refinery. So I immediately made home and will expand my house so I can put the forge. Plan to expand the entire area of the back and will make it like Ashland and Mistlands gear. I honestly should think about making this stone so it would look cooler, not this noobish wood house. Well, I'm lazy and wood works as long as we're sheltered. That's fine for me. Right, after making the forge, I unlocked a few recipes, and now there's a crossbow called the Arbalest. It has a really high damage, but the loading time is pretty slow. There's also a spear called the Carapace spear. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. And a two-handed sword that requires bronze and iron, and I don't really have bronze and iron, so I'm not making it. I don't want to farm any more bronze or iron. I also crafted the mortar and pistol, a cauldron upgrade. Unlock the ability to make food out of the Mistlands materials or food materials. What I hate about this is I need to cook them. Like, put it in the oven and wait for it to cook. So I will make every single one because I don't know what these things give. Alright, so for the meat platter, it is HP and stamina, more on HP. And the Mishshare Supreme is also HP, while the other one is Aether. But I think the best one for stamina right now is the salad, and I can make a bunch of them. So now we have some really good food buffs that increases a lot of our HP. So I crafted myself the Arbalest. I really want to try this thing. For the weapon, I wanted to go for the Carapace spear. I think it's the highest DPS right now that we have. So eating the new food, look at how my HP bar increased. Oh my god. I think I have like 200 HP now. So it was time to resume our infested mine adventures. And I tried out the Arbalest, and I'm not really a good shot. But I was looking forward to the damage. It didn't really do that much damage. I mean, I think the bow was better, or maybe because my level of crossbow is very low that it just, you know, only dealt about that much. I'm not sure what leveling the crossbow does. Maybe faster reloading of the Arbalest. Anyways, yeah, I think I'll go back to my bow. It was nice to experience the crossbow though. So for my spear, well, I think melee is not the greatest thing to do in this area. Anyways, the spear is actually doing really good. Like, the stagger is there. Like 3 hits and they stagger. Pretty great. So this dungeon crawling is more or less just looking for the black cores. And well, farming some royal jelly is also a plus because we need it for making meads and food. Alright, aside from that, there's something called a sealed fragment. I'm not sure if I got one in this dungeon, but yeah, I'll be needing to look for a lot of dungeons because I need 8 pieces of them. So I went on and found another dungeon. It might look like a diverger house, but it is actually an infested mine inside. I have to deal with the seekers first though, but no problem, we have the spear and it's pretty useful. So I placed down my portal and descended down into the mines. Immediately as I entered the place, I already found myself a black core. And now I can make an aether refinery. So I returned home and crafted the refinery. So how this works is I slapped in some sap, about 20, and also some soft tissues that I have gotten from the diverger towers or the diverger camps. And now we'll just wait for it to produce aether. I decided to go to the Mistlands for now. I was looking for the giant skull remains to look for soft tissues. But this thick mother, the Gajal, is like really hard to kill with the arbalist. I will definitely change this to my bow again. I died about 2 times, but now with a bow in hand, I should be able to kill this thing rather easy compared to earlier. And it died. Hell yeah. So I tried going to the root, but it already dried up, so it didn't really produce that much sap. So I need to relocate where I place my sappers. I found one not far from the previous one I had. So I made a portal here. I'll just leave like 3 sap extractors and come back here when I'm free. So with the refined aether made from the aether refinery, I can now make new items. Since this was a new axe, I tried it out. This thing had a glow, just like the picture. It takes a while for it to glow, but it glows yellow. I also made myself a new bow called the Spine Snap. But it wasn't really that different compared to my current bow. But well, it glows red, so it's cooler. I don't use magic yet, but I decided to craft some minor aether. Maybe I will need it once we decide to try out magic. I then process even more aether because, you know, I need a lot of it so I can craft the whole armor set as well and new other weapons. So I returned once more to the mines because I was looking for more black cores. And I tried out the axe and, well, to my surprise, it was really bad. Like, it does nothing at all. Like, almost no damage. What's the purpose of this axe? I wasn't even sure why I made this thing. So I needed to refund this. I don't like it. I hate it. It sucks. I found a hidden door and it contained the boss location. So it was good to know that the queen wasn't that far from us. So yeah, I think I need to make way now to the queen. I'll just find some infested mines nearby. And hopefully we get a lot of loot or a lot of cores from the mines we find. Because I really want new equipment. I made another aether refinery as I had enough black cores. So now we have 2 that makes refined aether. That's great. Now I have twice the production, but I have one problem. I was running out of sap and tissue. I only had enough to process like 44 more saps. Anyways, with some refined aether, I was able to make a new sword called the Mist Walker. This functions the same as the Wisp, that it removes like the mist near us, so it's called the Mist Walker. I also crafted the Himinafil. It's a lightning spear and it's really cool because every time you strike an enemy, it throws lightning on them. Totally didn't notice, but I had a recipe for a Galdir. Not sure pronouncing it right. A Galdir table. Now I have unlocked magic. Looking at this crafting table, I was mind blown that there were so many magician stuff. I was gonna make all the stuff and I'm gonna try it all out. And this is the seal breaker I was talking about. You actually need 9 pieces to make it so we can fight the queen. So for now, the number one priority was the feather cape. Now we don't take full damage anymore. This cape is amazing. Look at how cool my back is now with a feather cape and the shiny mist sword. And look at how high we can jump. And we float in the air or fall like a feather. It's awesome. It's awesome. I like it. I love this cape. I went to my rounds on Mistland and collected the saps. I need to relocate this again because the roots have run out of power. I then finally decided to raid a swamp area for the iron ores because I really needed iron, but I was too lazy to go back to the swamp. But yeah, it's time to raid this swamp. Let me show you the spear in action. Look at this. Bam! Bam! Lightning! Cool, right? I spent a fair good amount of time in this swamp dungeon as it was relatively big. But I did get a lot of scrap iron, so it was worth the time. And it wasn't really that hard since we had the black metal pickaxe that is already maxed out. So yeah, mining was a breeze. I also enjoyed piercing the enemies with my lightning spear. So that was fun too. I then returned home and processed all the irons I have gotten. Since we have the iron now, it was time to make the carapace armor set. I also made myself the shield. So this is the end of the era of the plains armor set. So I place it on my armor stand. I also crafted a really large hammer, the Demolisher. And this thing was amazing. And I don't know what I got inside my head when I tried it inside the house. But it did a lot of damage and almost broke everything inside. I also tried out the Skull and Hattie. It feels so fast. Look at my movement speed. It's crazy. Dual daggers. It looks so cool. And by the way, this is the Crumb, a two-handed sword. It looks pretty fun to use as well. So currently, the lineup of weapons I have right now is the two-handed spear, the two-handed hammer, and the two-handed sword. No more shield for me, but only these two-handed weapons. So just a bit more preparation, like cooking some pies and other food. I would head out back to the Mistlands again. Feeling confident about myself because I have new weapons, I raided this Diverger Tower. I stabbed this one rogue and suddenly, I don't know what happened, but my life just ended in a flash. I'm dying. What? I shouldn't really underestimate these guys. They really pack a punch. If you think about it, they lived here their entire lives fighting the Seekers, fighting the giant bugs. So I didn't know what came onto me and wanting to kill them like that. I should prepare myself some more before I engage in combat with them. And once again, feeling confident, trying to fight this Diverger rogue, I met my doom once more. The mage was actually one of the stronger ones. It burned me to death. I think with some fire resistance, I should be able to take care of them easily. I instead raided another tower because, you know, I gave up on that other one because it had a 1-star rogue. Anyways, this thing had a 1-star Seeker inside. Well, Seekers aren't really a problem by now. I've already learned what they do. But the only good thing here was there was a lone wizard here. I mean, a lone mage here. And, well, it's gonna be fairly easy to kill. I'll kill this thing and loot the rods that was inside, the Diverger rods, for sap extractions. Afterwards, I continued my journey towards the boss, as well as going into any dungeons I see nearby. And here's another nest. I mean, infested mines. I then sailed to another island as the queen was in another island. It wasn't on the island I currently was at. So yeah, to the sea we go. I then found another healthy root we can extract sap from. So I poked it with a lot of extractors. After reaching my destination, the queen was just nearby, and there's also another Diverger Tower right here. But I'm not gonna be hostile to them as they will help us on fighting the Seekers that fly our way. I then climbed to almost the top of the mountain to establish my portal base right here. So if we die, just come back here. Upon checking the tower again, I can see that they are busy fighting ticks, fighting Seekers, fighting soldiers. So, I took the opportunity to loot everything inside. By everything, I mean just the rod, the diverger rod. I was looking for the crates, which contain soft tissue, but I guess these areas don't have those crates. At this point of the game, I didn't know that the giant skeleton remains contained soft tissues. So, yeah, the only thing I had on mind to look for soft tissue was either to kill the diverger rogues mage or look for towers and loot their boxes. Then went ahead and checked out the boss area, and there were 3 seekers guarding it. But with my giant demolisher and a bone mass buff, I tried killing them, and wow, the demolisher is amazing. Just look at this thing slamming down, bringing destruction to every slap it does. So it says here, we sealed the door and scattered the key. Leave her be. Oh yeah, we need the seal breaker. And we need about 9 fragments. And I currently only have 1/9. So it was time to look for the infested mines to make the seal breaker. Alright, so on this day, I decided to switch jobs to a mage. While waiting for my other refined aether to process, I crafted myself the Staff of Frost, my very first magic weapon. I wanted to use it immediately, but it seems you need to eat something that has aether on it. So basically a food with aether before you can use magic. So good thing I bake one just to try it out or to check the stats. And now, look at this. Magic! We have magic! I'm a wizard! I'm a wizard! So I crafted myself a robe for now because I didn't really have enough materials to craft everything. At the very least, I'm not naked. I have a robe. I then went to the Mistland to find these giant bones. These things contain soft tissue, basically their brain. So I started mining on the top of its forehead. After breaking the bones, I found soft tissue. I was so happy. Now we can make more refined aether. So yeah, I continued mining until this thing had no more brain. It's a no-brainer now. All I need to do now is just wait for everything to process, and I should have a complete mage set and the other stabs as well. I then made food fit for a magician like myself. Then I went to the Mistlands to try out my magic staff on this soldier right here, and wow. Maybe mage is not for me. Or maybe because my magic is just level 1 right now that, you know, I'm not doing anything at all. It's level 3 now. Hey, let's go. Anyways, this should serve as a really good experience for our magic. This soldier right here. The only problem was regeneration was very slow, and I think I should eat like 2 magic potions. I mean 2 magic food and 1 stamina food. I don't think I would need the HP food once I have my protective staff. So yeah, for now, we'll work with what we have. Basically a little mana pool and like low level magic, so low damage. But we're killing it. I think it's much faster than just doing melee on this guy. Hell yeah, I'm a wizard. After collecting the saps, I went home. I crafted myself both the wizard greaves and wizard helmet. Now we have a complete wizard set. All we need now is the other stabs. I was pretty excited, but I remained patient and slapped in all the sap and tissue I had. I didn't notice that my house was actually breaking apart because this refinery, it shoots out, I don't know, magic attacks. Look at the green light shooting out. So it's been destroying my base. I was wondering why my beehive kept breaking. It was this thing. I'd never noticed at all. Now I notice I need to have protection. So my idea is to cover it in rocks in hopes that it will damage the rock instead. Rock should have a lot of HP compared to wood. Anyways, after waiting for a bit, I now had about 50 refined aether. So I made myself the protection staff and the staff of ember, as well as the dead racer, because I really was curious on what it does. Erase the dead. So for the Staff of Embers, it throws like a fireball on the direction where I'm aiming at. I found this innocent boar just chilling. So I tried the staff out and, well, I missed. And when I hit, it disappeared from existence. Staff is honestly an amazing AoE weapon. It's crazy. For the Staff of Protection, it sacrifices my health to make a shield bubble. It lasts for 1 minute, but if we upgrade this, it would increase the duration. I then checked my cauldron for more mana food, and I found a good one called the Seeker Aspic. It wasn't really loaded in sap to make the Yggdrasil porridge, so Seeker Aspic and the one that I need to bake was enough for me. So for the Raise the Dead weapon, it raised the dead. And look at my skeleton. It honestly looks really weak. So I don't think I'll be using this. So I made an area for my refinery. This time it's covered in like stone. I raised the ground so these things won't damage anything of our base. I then gathered even more sap as I needed more aethers. I was loaded with tissue right now because that brain, the giant's brain, had a lot of tissue. So yeah, I continued my journey. I needed to look for even more dungeons because I needed like 8 more fragments. I have 1 out of 9. It's honestly so fun to spam my cross magic on the Seekers. I guess my number one problem right now is that I ran out of mana really fast. But look how fast they die compared to when I was a melee character. Magic is amazing. Alright, so I found another infested mine. Hopefully we get a lot of fragments here. Upon entering this place, I already see 2 fragments. That's pretty lucky. But yeah, as you can see, it's guarded by a lot of Seekers. And oh my god, it only takes like 2 hits before my shield breaks and my HP goes to 0. I hate this place. It's crawling with these monsters. So let's try the Ember Staff. Very good. Nice AoE. The damage is not there though. Because I think, yeah, low level magic. But still, they die eventually, right? Yeah, they will die eventually with this. Raiding the entire dungeon took a while, but I got a total of like 5 fragments, 12 black cores, and the result is pretty satisfying. So we need like 3 more, then we can make the seal breaker. Since I have some extra refined aether, I upgraded my Staff of Embers and Staff of Frost. Then gathered the saps at my sap farm, and hopefully this root doesn't die anytime soon because I'm too lazy to set up another farm. I was also running out of soft tissue, so I had to break more of these giant skulls. I love them brains. And with the refined aether that I have, I upgraded a bunch of my armor. I couldn't upgrade my Staff of Protection just yet as I was missing some Yggdrasil wood, so I gathered some. I also set up another sap farm, this time with 6 sticks on this route. Should be really fast. And with enough wood, I have upgraded my staff to level 3. And since I have excess sap now, I made some Yggdrasil porridge, further increasing my magic. I think it's pretty dumb that I eat like 3 kinds of magic food. Because without stamina, we're gonna be in trouble. While looking for another infested mine, I found this weird Diverger's base. It was not the usual base they have, but they seem to have camped on this petrified bone. So I guess this is their mining area. I did not attack them first as they didn't seem hostile, but it seems they were attacking me, so I burned them to death with my magic. And with the new and improved level 3 protection staff, it now lasts like 3 minutes, so I don't need to keep recasting it every minute. And it also increased the amount of barrier it had. And since sometimes we run out of magic, I decided to make the Demolisher again. So for instances that our magic is recovering. I'm like a bundle of destruction. And after looking at the area a bit more, I found the infested mine. It was time to look for the remaining 3 fragments. So I explored the entirety of that mine and I only got about 2 fragments. So we just need 1 more, then we can make the seal breaker. Right now, I didn't really need anything else in the Mistland. I have max upgraded my mage armor. I have max upgraded the weapons, the staffs, and the demolishers also max upgrade. So we just need that 1 seal, kill the queen, and we're done with Mistland. Just near the boss area, I found an infested mine. Hopefully, it doesn't take us long to look for the seal. And upon entering the mines, I was so surprised that the seal was just right in front of us. I just needed to get this and we're done. And there we go. We have 9 fragments all in all. I didn't need to explore this dungeon anymore as I have enough black cores as well. So I crafted the seal breaker. And now all I need to do is prepare for the boss fight. So I crafted about 12 bile bombs. This is gonna be helpful if ever we run out of magic. I also stocked up on my stamina potions as I would probably need this. I then went to the boss area, made a portal on top. So if ever we die, we can just come back here. So it was time to unseal the gate. And so, we have entered the infested citadel. Inside were a lot of eggs, but I easily burned it with 2 shots from my ember staff. I climbed the stairs to look for the queen or the boss, but for some reason, I was gonna say I couldn't find her, but then she showed up. And oh my god, she's huge. Just look at that giant bug. She's fast. So I attacked her with all my might with my ember staff, burning her. I think this would have been a really easy fight if only she didn't summon like minions like this and I could just focus on her. But since she keeps summoning minions, we have to deal with them because they will kill us if we let them be. So this went on for a while. I was just like shooting my ember staff, maintaining distance, and if I don't have enough stamina, I can either use my lightning spear or my demolisher. But the most important thing I need to do in this fight is to keep my protection bubble up, or the queen will kill me if she had the chance. I was honestly not too sure which was more effective. By shooting her with the frost staff, looks like it's dealing a lot of damage. But at the same time, the burn from the ember staff and the AoE that helps killing like these random bugs are pretty helpful. And see how useful the demolisher is. Because these bugs aren't really that tanky. We can just deal with it with our demolisher. And also, yeah, you saw how the queen just slapped me once and my HP was like almost... I mean, my shield was shattered instantly. It's very scary. Because I really need to maintain my HP and my shield, of course. With some carelessness, I actually died from the queen. I totally forgot about poison or bile damage. Since I didn't really have any magic food at home with me, because it was on my body, I decided to go for a melee approach on this boss. So I have the spear and also the hammer. So after looting my body, it was time to fight. And as soon as I had poked the queen, I realized how bad melee is against her. Because there were so many mobs and the damage was really high. So I don't think it's a good thing to fight her like this. I tried my best anyways with my demolisher. It was honestly not bad. Because my strategy here involved hiding behind walls and just smashing the ground with my demolisher, and the queen would still take damage. And once she runs away and don't notice us, I stab her with my spear. And once she's aggro like this, I run back to the wall and just, smash my demolisher. Basically, just like this. The queen will take damage if she's behind the wall. But if she's not there, then it doesn't do anything. I have to go out again and lure her near the wall. So I kept this up until the durability of my hammer was gone. Then I will switch back to magic again, as I feel like magic was faster in dealing damage to the queen. So it's round 2 with the magic. Let's go. So this fight is a really long battle, but with persistence, running away very fast when she's close, and throwing my fireballs, burning her to death. And with this last fireball, I have defeated the queen. We have received her loots, the majestic carapace and the queen's trophy. With the carapace, we can now make an artisan press, an upgrade to our artisan table. So I had to expand my house once more to make room for the artisan table. I had an artisan table on my other house, but I want one here as well. I placed down the artisan table and the artisan press. And now we've unlocked the ability to make ceramic plates and also a shield core. And the shield core is used to make the shield generator. And with the ceramic plate, it's also used to make the Drakkar. In order to go to Ashland, we need a really strong ship. And that's where the Drakkar comes in. The Drakkar is resistant to the hotness of the sea of Ashland. Any other ship would be destroyed. So yeah, I'm preparing for the materials for the Drakkar. I had to go to the plains to chop a lot of fine wood. I then remembered to place the queen trophy at our altars. With the queen buff, it basically increases the amount of Aether regeneration, basically our magic points. But right now, we don't really need this. What we need is the dragon buff, so the tailwind is with us. I would like my boat to be very fast, because I wouldn't want to be eaten by the dangers of the Ashland waters. After all my preparation, it was time to run down from the Mistlands towards where the ocean is. And once I reached the ocean, I crafted the Drakkar. And now, it was time to sail to Ashlands. All we really need to do now is to keep sailing south and we'll eventually reach the Ashland Sea. It's fairly obvious because it's red and it looks hot. I made sure to protect myself with a protection bubble just in case anything tries to attack us. And as you can see, the spiky area in front of us and the change of color of the sea, we're already at Ashlands. And look, there's already a threat. The bone moth, a sea creature that will try to kill us. One of the very stressful things in Ashland is that there's so many of this spiky rock, it's really hard to navigate the boat. I will get stuck if I don't steer it properly. Just like what's happening right now, because the waves made me stick to this rock right here. Not only that, there were giant birds that were trying to kill me. But with our frost staff, they died pretty fast. So yeah, no problem. My only problem right now was my boat was stuck between two rocks. So I had to slowly row my boat and turn it before I can proceed. Then the giant sea creature that looks like a bone dragon or a bone snake tried to attack our ship. So I sprayed it with my frost staff. And well, I'm tickling it, but it'll eventually die. It got too confident and got too close biting my boat, and I sprayed it with frost magic. It died, so I jumped to sea and looted all its loot before it sank. After my boat was free from the rocks, I had to leave the area a bit in order to turn my boat and try again. next time, it looks like I have a chance of slipping through these rocks as long as I'm careful and if I steer properly. I eventually reach a place which looked like land or a broken fortress. And oh boy, this was a bad idea. I think I shouldn't be here because I feel like my danger sense is tingling right here. The area looks pretty dangerous. Yeah. And look, there's so many monsters waiting at shore. So I backed my boat and decided to board this area right here. I should be able to jump over and get inside the building so I can set up my portal. And I did. And while setting up my little portal base, I was already attacked with random skeleton monsters that were approaching and attacking my boat. But with our frost wand, I took care of them. They dealt such high damage. That archer just shot me once and my shield broke. After I set up my portal, it was time to go to land. But for now, I want to have another portal. Because if ever they manage to slip in and break my first portal, at least I have a second portal. I placed my second portal on top of this rock right here, thinking that it wouldn't break at all. I had a problem though. I actually ran out of materials to make a portal. So I had to go back to the first portal and return home and grab some materials. I then went back, placed both a shield generator so no random meteor is gonna hit our base, and place a portal. So since I have a safety net now, like I can just come back to the portal. Anytime I die, I drop down and see what dangers awaited me below. And already, there were a lot of arrows throwing in my face. There were a lot of warriors trying to go in my face. There were so many enemies in this area, it was crazy. And one enemy exploded and destroyed the rock, and now my base is falling apart. I was devastated. I'm just happy that this very first portal is still protected by this really hard rock building. So I just need to loot my item and establish a bunch more portals, and we should be safe from ever trying to get here again by ship. I swear to God, after like getting my items, I tried killing most of the enemies that was here, but there were just so many. What's up with this area? I am dead already. I can't do anything here. It's over. Okay, I have a shield now. I'm not scared of anything. Come on, screw you guys. Magic is undefeated. Ah, wait, there's more? Hello? Hello? Ah, yo, there's what the fuck? There's so many of them. Why? And just like that, I died again. This place was like a war zone. Like, oh my god. There's a bunch of them versus only one of me. That's crazy. So once again, I retrieved my items, and this time with the power of the queen, I should be able to regenerate more of my mana very fast. So I will kill all the monsters in this area and then maybe plant a base or something. One way to actually win on a bunch of monsters at the same time was to climb rocks. Except when there's the new monster that was, you know, the one that destroyed the giant rock or replaced our portal. So that was a problem. But anyways, with this thing, I can just stay up here and kill everything down there. The AI on the enemies, they have a hard time climbing up. So we're kind of safe up here. Unless it's the birds, you know, because they fly. Feeling a bit safe right here, I made a second portal because I was honestly scared if my first portal broke and then we can't come back. So I realized why there were a lot of monsters. So this glowing red thing is actually the summoning totem. So it's like those bone piles which keep summoning monsters. So I need to deal with it as fast as I can. Good thing I had a melee weapon called the Demolisher. So let's demolish it right away so it stops spawning monsters or these charred monsters. After destroying the rock and clearing the area of monsters, I went home and upgraded a bunch of my gears. I also unlocked a new armor set called the Hood of Embla, the Robe of Embla. The armor wasn't impressive as usual because it's a mage set, but it did have higher Aether regeneration, so I'm looking forward to completing the set. Next up, a forge improvement station, and now I can craft a bunch of new stuff as well, like the Hood of Ask, the Trouser of Ask, and the Breastplate of Ask. What it does, it increases the damage of pierce and reduce stamina usage of run, jump, and attack if I have the 3 set pieces. But I'm a mage, so I'm not gonna be using this for now unless I decide to go melee again. Right, so I returned to Ashland, and oh my god, I almost deal like no damage at all. I hate this place. Why is everything so goddamn tanky? Also got this new material called a smoke puff. Not sure what it does, but looking at the new recipe, it makes a smoke bomb. So I slowly closed in the gap between me and the broken buildings so I can check out if there's anything good inside the buildings. And yes, I killed a lava blob and it explodes upon that, or if it gets too close to you, it will explode as well. I got myself some sulfur and some explosive powders, which is actually called a frostite powder. So with the new frostite powder and sulfur, I can now make something called an explosive payload. But the problem was, I can't really use this to throw in the ground. I need something that would throw it for me. Like, let's say a catapult. So it was pretty useless, honestly. I continued my grind at the Ashland in hopes of looting new things. My number one enemy is probably the Askvin, as they're really strong and, you know, can break rock. Yeah, annoying. Very annoying. Annoying. This place is so stressful. I swear. I hate the Ashlands. I hate it. I suffer so much here. But I think one trick to surviving in this place is whenever you see an enemy, just kill it straight. Like, no mercy. Don't let them group up. Just start killing them one by one, non-stop. I thought that I can survive the lava since I have a protection bubble, but well, you know, I'm pretty dumb. As I retrieved my item, I encountered this boss-looking monster. So since I wasn't sure what it was, I ran away as fast as I could. And because I ran away, I actually attracted a lot more random mobs when I could have taken care of it by spraying frost and running around. I tried my best to survive and kill it, but well, because there's a group of monsters, it's really hard to dodge everything that's thrown at me. The amount of times I died in the Ashlands, I don't know. I'm just very thankful I set up a lot of portals so I can retrieve my items and try again. Because imagine if I don't have any portals, I would have to sail back here and just die. Then I'm just gonna cry. This place is literal hell. The amount of spawns, the amount of damage they do, and the tankiness they have. It's crazy. After exploring some more, I finally found the new type of metal in Ashland, the flametal ore. So I started mining it, and well, it suddenly shake. I wasn't sure what was going on. I was just thinking that the volcano has erupted. I didn't know that this thing was actually alive and would sink down. Good thing I placed a portal beside it, and I went back. And I noticed really late that it was actually sinking, but I still wanted to mine some more. I climbed up the Leviathan. Let's call it a Leviathan now, since we know it's a flametal or Leviathan. And well, I made a mistake. I'm screwed. It's over. Boom. I honestly wasn't sure how I'm able to retrieve my items. Because for sure, the moment I step on the volcano, I die. I went home, grabbed some wood, made a ladder, and tried my best. As you can see. But yeah, It seems like... yeah. The wood touched the lava and it burned and then it broke. So I need to make it a bit higher so it doesn't do that again. This was the limit I can make since it would break eventually. And yeah, at the very least, it's much closer now. I just need to repeat this 2 more times or something. This was my genius plan to retrieve my item. But for the rest of the items that are stuck on my grave, I don't think I'll be able to get it. I have successfully retrieved my items and I got about 24 metal ores. This should be enough to make something. Here's another blooper. I didn't know that when you mine that or hit that, it explodes. A good thing it's not in the lava this time, so I can just get my grave. So I processed the new ore in hopes for new items that would help our journey in Ashlands. And upon picking the metal, I have obtained a lot of new recipes. Let's go! The new metal armor set and weapons, as well as an ash bow. I then upgraded my cauldron with this rolling pin, and now it's level 6. But even though it's level 6, I haven't unlocked anything new yet. Tired of everything that has happened so far at Ashland, I decided to take a break and got my saps from Mistlands. I also reorganized my chest storage at home. I should really make another area for chests, like bigger chests. I then crafted myself the last Embla piece I was lacking, which was the robe of Embla. Also, this new staff called the Staff of Fracturing. This thing fired like fireballs that explodes with clusters. I tried it out in combat, but well, it wasn't really that impressive. But at the very least, it had like knockback. After that, I went home and crafted this thing called the Basalt Bomb. It is a game changer against the lava because by throwing this in lava, it will solidify and make a soil to stand on. So just like this, I'll just throw one on the lava. Now I can step on it and go to the Leviathan with the metal ore. I can start mining this, and for safety, I can throw one down and then go to safety. So now that I know the mechanics of this lava Leviathan, I mine the metal ore as fast as I can. Once it shakes like that, I have like 30 seconds to escape this place, or else it will sink with me. So I already had a game plan on mine, but there was one problem. I got too greedy and kept mining, and I didn't have stamina to jump, so I died. Since I assured my safety, I had a portal close by, so it wasn't really a problem. So I crafted 10 more basalt bombs, so I had some platform to walk on to retrieve my body. And there we go. Basalt bomb was very useful. I then processed all the metal ores I got before sleeping to hasten this process of making the metal bars. The next day, I grabbed all the metal that has finished processing and slapped in even more metal ores to process. I was honestly very tempted to change to physical attacks again, because there were so many new weapons like this berserker axes. Dual axes. Isn't it cool? Imagine. I went to the plains as I needed to farm some pine wood, and with the axe, look at that damage. It just attacks slow because we're chopping down wood, but if it's monsters, it's actually dealing massive damage, spinning very fast. So yeah, I changed my class to melee again. I now have the Ask set. I then rearranged my items at base and turned them to black metal chests, as I was getting lazy on opening small chests one by one to insert all the items I've looted recently. I then prepared some health and stamina food, as we're no longer a mage, we don't eat those magic foods anymore. After readying up, I went back to the Ashlands to try out my new build. And our first enemy, the Charred Warrior and some lava blob. Well, the bow wasn't that strong. The axe was strong though, but I'm very squishy. That was the problem with the axe set. So I think I need to collect even more flame metal so I can have the metal armor set. The only benefit with this asset is that the movement speed penalty is less, and we also have reduced stamina reduction. So I think it's better to use the set on monsters that are not from the Ashlands. Something that we can actually tank. But the axe is honestly really fun to use though. Look at that. It's very fun and we can move very fast. I'm happy with this. It's just that our tank ability doesn't exist. Look at how fast I killed this vulture with the axe. It's so much fun. So yeah, after taking care of this archer right here, I found something called a fiddled head. Now we have finally unlocked the new food recipes. Surely this will boost our stats so our survivability this place gets higher. My problem in this map now really is just when there's too many monsters trying to kill me. I just can't fight back, especially when I don't have stamina anymore. And I especially hate starred monsters because look, I just got stabbed. I had like half health and I was dead. So I grabbed my loot and slowly started to destroy all of this summoning items, like this summoning totem right here. It will surely help, right, in the population of the undeads in this map. After I went home, I continued sorting out my chests so it makes it more easier for me to deposit random stuff. Like per chest, there's an area like this one is the swamp and the plains, and this one is like it's gonna be our snow biome. Well, you get the picture. So exploring a abandoned building, I got something called a vineberry cluster. It is used to make food. So yay! I climbed up this ruin of a building, but there was really nothing here. So right now, my priority were these ask vents right here. They drop their hides, which is used for a lot of crafting stuff. And yes, the axe is amazing against this guy, as long as it's one-on-one. Look how fast we killed it. Once again, my life was put in danger because of a fallen Valkyrie that appeared out of nowhere and me running around like an idiot, attracting more mobs to attack me. And then I died. It was high time I made the new types of food, like this mash meat that gave like 100 HP. It's crazy. I got my loot back, but I really hate these aspens. They have a strong knockback, and yeah, we died. I went back to the place where I died again, but I was surrounded by too many enemies. I found this random cave called the Putrid Hole. So I stayed here for a bit to regenerate HP, and then I'll grab my loot again outside. I didn't want to venture inside as I didn't know what dangers await me inside this place. So yeah, I just sit for now. I then went out and grabbed my loot and killed a bunch of vultures. With no other enemy on site, I decided to challenge the Valkyrie one-on-one. Well, I think we will have an easier time now since it's one-on-one. But I will never challenge this guy if we have other enemies surrounding us. It's fairly easy to kill this guy. I just need to shoot arrows in its face and eventually it will fall down. His attack isn't really scary. What's scary is if you can't move and he hits you. Basically just dodge. And with this final arrow, I have finally vanquished the fallen Valkyrie. But you know what? It was actually just a normal mob that spawns from time to time and I hate it. It's hard. With some metal on hand, I started making something like the Flametal Mace. I will be crafting the shield as well as I want some defense against enemies. I then crafted a bunch of frost arrows because I think they'll be weak to frost because they're on fire, right? So naturally, if you think about it, you freeze them. They should explode from, I don't know, reaction with heat and ice. So with a mace and a shield on hand, I felt like I was ready to face anything that will come out my way. That means the monster inside the putrid hole. But the moment it emerged, I was unsure now. I had no clue what this thing was. It was made of bones and meat, I guess, rotten meat. And I don't know how to describe this thing. Anyways, I wasn't prepared enough and I died. So now I finally ate the new types of food. I had like 249 HP and that's amazing. I also went to the shrine to change my power to that of bone mass so I will be more tanky than ever. I went inside the putrid hole again, but this time with the power of the bone mass, I should be really tanky. So this monster is called the Morgan. He has like two claw attacks that are easily dodgeable, but if you panic like me, then you won't be able to dodge it. Anyway, since I have the bone mass buff, I wasn't really scared of anything, so I just tanked everything and like, you know, slam my mace on its face until it dies. So I really love the bone mass buff. It's like I'm Superman for 5 minutes and we'll have to wait for 15 minutes to become Superman again. That's how I explained it. So I guess my life became much easier with the mace and the shield, as well as the new food buff. Because these bones have, I mean, like, they're still tanky, but I guess the mace has bonus damage since they're bones and I have a blunt weapon. Anyways, you get the idea. I have a shield now. I can tank the charred warriors. I honestly did not expect a Morgan to appear outside. So, well, I still have like 45 seconds of Superman power, aka bone mass. So I'm gonna go all in on this Morgan without thinking of my life at all. It ran out and I'm currently being ganged by a bunch of monsters. So all I can do right now really is have the Morgan attack them as well, as this guy has friendly fire. And with this final arrow, I have defeated the Morgan. I had the shield up most of the time when it was still a mob. The shield is amazing. It really protected me from harm. It's crazy. I then went home for now and planted a bunch of ash vine. I made this stone wall as it needed something to cling to once it grows. Or, well, it doesn't grow without anything to cling to. I was so happy when I went back to Ashlands to find another Leviathan with the Flametal ores. Because yes, I really wanted the new armor set. I wanted more defense. I was pretty squishy. Also, I wanted to make like the other Flametal weapons. I then went home and processed all the Flametal ores I have gained from that Leviathan. Then I continued my journey until we finally reached the fortress. So it was time to think about how I can raid this place. Because the place was surrounded by lava. I don't know how to climb up. For now, I spammed my bow until the turret exploded. And there's one. There's still 2 more turrets in the castle that I need to take care of. So one way was I tried making a stairway towards the castle. But I don't think I have enough durability to reach it. Because it already looks like it's breaking. Other strategy was, yeah, to look for a bridge or something towards the inside of the fortress. And well, I found another fallen Valkyrie. It wasn't a problem since it's only him. It's a one-on-one fight. That will be not a problem at all. I can just spam my bow attack. Look, it's already half health. I hate the Ashlands. It's so dangerous here. And yeah, I was right. There was actually land here. I just need to break the front gate and we're set. For now, I'll return home to get materials to make a battering ram. This battering ram will be our ticket inside and it needs like 10 flame metal ores or bars, I mean. So I crafted my very first armor piece, the Flametal breastplate. And hopefully this would help us in surviving more. I also crafted this giant two-handed sword called the Slayer. And oh my god, this feels like I'm Guts and Berserk now. It's so huge. Not that huge, but it's big. For the rest of the armor, I decided to just wear the Carapace armor set for now. I then went back to the Ashlands in hopes of raiding the fortress, but I totally forgot about the battering ram that I don't have flame metal ores anymore. So for now, I'll just kill the surrounding monsters while waiting for, you know, some of my ores to finish smelting. As well as looking for another source of Flametal ores. I then tried out the Slayer and see like if we're doing good damage. But, well, yeah, I don't like it. I think I'll go for the axe. Oh my god, the warlock's so strong. I died. So going back to loot my body and killing the warlock with my giant sword. It's really cool to look at, but it feels really slow though. Found the Flametal Leviathan. This is our key to finally getting our complete armor set if I mine a lot of ores. So of course, I jumped on in. I started mining the ores surrounding it, and I made sure I would survive and be safe. So after mining, I made sure I had stamina this time too, and I got away safely. I went home and processed the metals like usual. Then planned to change my shield to a tower shield because it has more block force and block armor. And then I finally completed the Flametal armor set. I love the helmet. It looks awesome. With the remaining metal, I upgraded what I could. My armor set is currently level 2 or quality level 2. This should give me a lot of defense, right? Hopefully. So with the battering ram and with a bone mass buff ready, I was ready to charge inside this fortress. But I totally didn't know how to make this battering ram work. It actually just needed to be fueled by wood, and once equipped or used, it will start doing its ramming because it's a battering ram. And look at that damage. So the plan is, once the gate broke, I would activate the bone mass and kill everything inside. My primary focus should be the summoning items, but oh my god, even with the bone mass buff, I'm dying. I think it's because of the mage, and well, yeah, I died. So what's gonna happen here is it's gonna be a battle of me running away, killing them one by one, trying my best to get inside and break the summoning piles, and then rinse repeat until everything is dead and I conquered the fortress. I tried rushing inside, ignoring all the enemy, and just went for the summoning thing. The effigy of malice. I didn't really have enough stamina, so I had to run away when they finally came inside and got me. So look at what you can see here. I don't know how many enemies there are, but look at the amount of arrows, magic, and the amount of enemies that are chasing me. So of course I died. So being in the situation where I am right now, I really appreciated the Ember Staff that Mage has. Because I believe it's the only weapon that can deal a lot of AoE damage. I mean, there's the Demolisher or the Lightning Spear with its wide swing attack, but in a situation where there's too many monsters and not limited amount of stamina, I think the Ember Staff is really nice. I think I'll be making use of the Ember Staff. I'll eat like one food type with Aether. I probably would only be able to cast it twice, then wait for it to regen. But at least I would be doing AoE. So for now, with no other choice, I just killed the monsters one by one. And once everything calms down, I'll raid the fortress again and try for the effigy. So rushing in like a crazy maniac, I aim for the effigy. I destroyed 1 out of 2. So the only one remaining is this one. And well, yeah, I hate the warlock. It killed me so fast. Both the magic and the crowd of enemies. Going back to grab my loot, I saw that I actually destroyed the summoning totem or the effigy. So now the only thing left to do was destroy the remaining turrets and some random enemies that are still alive. They won't be expanding anymore. So I already destroyed the summoning items, so If we slowly kill them one by one, we'll eventually win. And that's what I did. I just brought my shield up to regenerate stamina, run around, run home to regenerate health and everything. Then go back totally ready, having my shield up for sure. So when I enter, I don't get spammed with attacks. So this is basically just our rinse and repeat until I kill every skeleton that exists here. And after that, I went inside and claimed my rewards of raiding this fortress. I got an Iolite and Bloodstone, and these are used to enchant weapons, I guess. Like the Iolite can imbue lightning, the Bloodstone can imbue blood. For the lightning one, it basically makes your weapon proc lightning as you attack. For the blood one, the lesser your HP, the higher the damage. Anyways, there was one more door inside the fortress, so I used the battering ram to destroy it. And now we have unlocked it. And we also found the stone that shows the boss location. And the boss was pretty close. Like, dang, where I parked my boat, it's just below there. Nice. So for the element I want on my axe, I decided to go for the lightning one. So the thundering berserker axes. I also gotten myself about 6 bell fragments, so I crafted like 2 bells. And you need 3 to summon the boss, so it seems like I need to raid one more fortress. Spoiler alert, all my weapons are imbued in lightning. I didn't like the blood imbue. So the weapons imbued with these elements, they glow. Look at my mace glowing in lightning blue. And look how cool my axes are on my back. So yeah, I upgraded most of my gears since I had flame metal. But look at the lightning axes in action. Well, they're just bats because I steered the cauldron, it says. Anyways, I am now a magician warrior. I ate like magic food just so that I can cast some ember magic and shoot about 3 times in total. I guess you can say it's pretty handy, but I could have also just eaten like stamina food so I can attack more. Anyways, here are the lightning weapons in action. Or yeah, after my magic has dealt with these enemies, I became very strong and tanky. I believe like I can survive most situations in the Ashlands now. Because my armor is like quality number 3 now, I believe. Fully upgraded. Or I'm not sure if level 3 is like the fully upgraded version. But anyways, I upgraded to the maximum I could. And it just needed a higher level workstation. I was happy to encounter another Leviathan. Because I'm pretty sure I still need some to upgrade my weapons. The green towering light means that there's a fortress there. So we're pretty close to the next fortress we wanted to target. Hopefully it has a bell so we can start going to where the boss is and prepare the fight. I can easily take out a Morgan using my Ember Staff and my lightning weapons. And my tower shield keeps me protected. Let's look at this. Yeah. I continued pushing through the fortress, killing any enemies I have on sight because I really don't want them to gang up together and kill me. What I fear the most right now are the Askvins because they're really strong. Like, holy, why are they so strong? Well, they're nothing against my lightning axe though, unless there's a mob of them or a group of them. They would be a problem by then. Look how strong those axes are. It's crazy. I love it. And since I died, I checked out the mage station and there were new staffs. One was a Dunder. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. And the other one was a troll staff. So what this troll staff does is summon a troll. With a Dunder, well, it will shock us. So I immediately went out the house, tried it out, and oh my god, it was really shocking. It's actually a shotgun. Anyways, I went back to Ashland to retrieve my lost loot. And thankfully, I had my hammer and my shield when I died. So I still have it on me. And with the Dunder, it's actually very helpful because the knockback is really great. Like, wow, we can just shoot it. But yeah, I don't really have that much mana, so I can only shoot it twice. I swear to god, I hate these Askvin. I'll never taming one. I will just kill one each time I see one. I hate them so much. Well, anyways, Yeah, they're very strong. So anyways, let's continue our raid towards the fortress. After a long skirmish, I'm finally at the gate with my battering ram. I'm gonna smash through this wall, activate my bone mash, and kill them all with my giant hammer. But yeah, the mage is always the problem. They hurt so much, even with the fire resistance need. I'm not sure what element those green ones are. But yeah, I did my best with the hammer, but the damage over time still killed me. Yeah, I need to come back and pick up my items. Came back with my giant hammer, and honestly, it went surprisingly well. Like, I just needed to pop my bone mass. I totally forgot to pop it earlier. That's why maybe I died. So anyways, the hammer did so much damage to everything around it. I was so happy that I didn't have any trouble in destroying these effigies. So yeah, I broke through the fortress. I got the bell and some other loots like the flametal ores. So it's finally time to prepare for the final battle. The last boss of Valheim, which would be the boss in Ashlands. And since I had some spare metal ores, I made the Slayer and imbued it in lightning. It looks really cool, but I don't think I'll be using it. It just looks cool. So now my mission is to go to where the boss is. And as usual, there are so many monsters I need to deal with first before we can actually reach a destination. So it's a bad idea to just push through without thinking about the mobs. And after much persistence, I finally reached the arena for the boss. So I have two goals here. One would be to make like 2 portals. If ever one dies, there's always the other portal. And another goal was to defeat whatever was nearby. So we are going to have a one-on-one fight with the boss, and no random enemy is gonna join the fight. Like this guy right here. 2-star Charred Warrior, oh my god. With my mighty Thunder Hammer, it was no match. I then dug the area around the arena. And for sure, this should be really tanky enough that it wouldn't destroy my portal underneath. I'll be covering it up with some stone floors, so it should be protected at least. So this is basically the end product. I'll be layering even more floors, so I'm sure that it wouldn't break. Then I took care of a bunch of turrets at the nearby fortress, because maybe it will join the fight. I don't know, maybe. So it's better to make sure it's gone and dead. I then made another one farther from the arena. Not that far though, but far enough maybe so I can run away and go inside this portal. I then bake a bunch of pies, so if ever we die, I have some stockpile on my storage where I can just eat them on the go. And lastly, I lured this random Askvin that was near the arena. I wouldn't want this 1-star Askvin to join the fight. I'd cry if he would grief me so much. And so, with all the preparation done, I was ready. I rang the bell and summoned the boss. And there he was, coming down like a shooting star. A very big dragon. So of course, I rushed in. This was Father, the Emerald Flame. I think that's the title. Because he looks like an Emerald Dragon Flame. I don't know. Anyways, we have the bone mass buff, so I have nothing to fear. I should be very strong for the next 5 minutes. For now, I'm just regenerating my stamina. And let's go. Let's fight him again. And oh my god, the damage is amazing on these axes. Left with no choice, I really want to destroy him as fast as I can. I use my bone mass buff and started slashing the dragon. Things were going well until he slammed the ground with his glowing green hand, and it summoned like a bunch of rocks and flames, and I had to run away. I didn't have elemental resistance, only physical attack. So I continued slicing through the dragon's belly with my lightning axe. I feared nothing I felt like I was invulnerable to everything. Well, that is until I wasn't. I wasn't sure when, but I think when his HP became half, he started summoning allies now, like the Charred Warriors. So I had no choice but to run away and like slowly poke him with my special axe attack, I guess. I also tried using a bow, but the damage wasn't there, so I just not wasted stamina anymore. And we'll just try and approach the boss. This was the only gap closer I have with the boss once he's like not attacking as fiercely anymore. But still, I'm lacking in HP right now, so I should play safe, and with no stamina, I can't really attack. So for this final battle against Vader, I honestly just attacked him like a berserker. I noticed that I have a corpse run buff after picking up my corpse, and I think it gives me like some health regeneration or armor. But anyways, I felt invincible. I felt like I could just rush in his belly and slash him to death with this. HP potion. Oh, berserker, you fool. I don't care. One more hit. One more hit. Yes. And he died. And I will die. Or not. I probably will die. Yep. I died. Freaking heck. So we have slain Vader, but I was also slain. Fear not, gamers never die, so I can just respawn back and go back in. So I went back to take care of the remaining monsters and loot my spoils. Look at that giant head of his. I will place that on the altar. And there we have it. 200 days of Valheim. Look at my armor set. It's so cool, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you all. Hope you enjoyed your stay here. So this has been a fun ride for me. It was really fun playing Valheim. It got stressful in Mistlands and Ashlands, but it was also fun to discover new things, new weapons, and new ways to power up in this game. So once again, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye. Alright, for those who are curious, Vader's power increases your weight and your movement speed. Bye bye.